the end of one of the greatest careers in baseball history. As the games slowly drop off the schedule, the days of admiring the mastery of Mariano Rivera slowly drop away as well. The mighty Mo has announced that this season will be his last. The last time we see his greatness on display, a greatness that began back in Panama when a son of a fisherman used a milk carton as a glove and began a journey that will ultimately end in Cooperstown.
Strike three, and it's perfect. He stands alone atop the closer mountain.
In 1996, Rivera turned baseball into a six-inning game, dominating the seventh and eighth innings.
See you tomorrow. What a job by Rivera.
The next year, the end of the game became his property, in ownership that lasted 17 years.
Nobody has been better.
Giving us moments that are now frozen in time, a permanent place in our mind's scrapbook. Mo became a fixture in all the Yankee celebrations, throwing the last pitch and ending up on the bottom of the pile, each time climbing up baseball's mountain of forever.
World champions for the 24th time, 25th World Championship, 26th time in franchise history, World Champions for the 27th time.
Today, the Yankees open their season against the Red Sox, and there is the chance the door in right center will open and out will jog number 42. If so, soak it in. The beginning of the end starts today. Yankees-Red Sox, the season opener, next on Yes.
It is opening day here in the Bronx. The Yankees and the Red Sox set to start a three-game series in a 162-game season. Pre-game introductions, Andy Pettit got a huge hand. So did Robinson Cano, but the loudest cheer remained Mariano Rivera as he was introduced to the crowd here at Yankee Stadium. Welcome to New York Yankees baseball, presented by GE Capital, as the Yes Network presents the New York Yankees against the Boston Red Sox in the first of three from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with David Cohn, I'm Michael Kay. Yes, all hope springs eternal on opening day, but for the Yankees, you know the story. It's been widely publicized. A lot of their big hitters are down with injuries. They should return later in the season. But when you look at this lineup right now, they are not going to score that many runs, at least as many as they scored last year, and the power is not going to be there either. But that doesn't mean that that's the end of the season for them. They have very good pitching, and a lot is going to rest on the starter. Starting with the starter today, CC Sabathia.
Yeah, never more important to the Yankees Yankees than a pitcher's been in a long time. CC Sabathia got to be the anchor. He's got to be the #1 guy. He has been since he put on that big league uniform. If you look at those numbers since 2007, first, and third in the big categories, wins, innings, and strikeouts. Look at the names that are with them. Just Justin Verlander and Tim Lincecum in strikeouts. So that tells you everything you need to know about CC Sabathia. The Yankees need him now more than ever.
And he will face John Lester. It'll be the Yankees against the Red Sox. Opening day here at the ballpark in the Bronx. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball next on Yes.
Tonight,
a ceremonial first pitch, and it's going to be a member of our team and a former member of the New York Yankees, Sweet Lou Piniella. Listen to the reception he'll receive from the crowd.
Just the 12th former Yankee to be honored with the opening day ceremonial first pitch. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lou Piniella.
So Lou starts out the season with the ceremonial first pitch. He was always tough on pitchers, so he knows it's a little more difficult than he thought when he was managing, right?
One of the best Yankees, one of the best managers, and what a competitor.
So Lou will make his way into the dugout and up to one of the suites, and we will make our way to give you a look right now at the Red Sox starting lineup that is going to face Yankee starter CC Sabathia. Red Sox tried to bounce back from a last-place 69-win season last year. They'll lead off their center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury. Shane Victorino in right field will bat second. Batting third, playing second base, Dustin Pedroia. Mike Napoli at first base will bat fourth. Batting fifth and playing third base, Will Middlebrooks. Jared Saltalamacchia will catch. He'll bat sixth. Batting seventh and DHing Johnny Gomes. Jackie Bradley Jr., a rookie, he'll be in left field. He's going to bat eighth. And batting ninth and playing shortstop, Jose Iglesias.
We'll get a look at CC Sabathia, ready to go. Just finishing up his warm-ups. And we'll see last year's numbers, 28 starts, 15-6. Still got 200 innings in. Only 44 walks and 97 strikeouts. Pretty good ratio. We're going to bring you the pitcher's scouting report from the Tri-Honda dealer. 10-5. This will be CC Sabathia's 10th career opening day start and 5th with the Yankees. That's pretty good. He's going to tie Justin Verlander right there. And Chips Ahoy, we're talking about the offseason surgery that he had. He had a couple of bone chips taken out of his elbow, and that's not that big a deal. Oh, you can make a necklace out of those, Michael, and no real damage done, and 40,000 pitches. He will pass that mark today, and that is the most pitches thrown in the major leagues over the last 10 years.
Well, it is a beautiful day here at Yankee Stadium, a perfect day for baseball. Jacoby Ellsbury steps in. CC Sabathia is on the mound. The big left-hander winds, kicks, and deals. Let's do it here at the stadium. It's a strike, and we are underway. In 9 career opening day starts, CC 1-1 with a 5.66. So 4 of those with the Yankees, 5 with the Indians, and now this is the 5th with the Yankees to make it 10, as David said. And quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. And Sabathia deals. Punched out towards shortstop, and right there is Nunez for the first out. Why don't we take a look at the Yankee defense? That will start in the outfield. In left field, one of the newer Yankees, Vernon Wells, and you've got Brett Gardner in center and Ichiro Suzuki over right. In the infield, Jason Nix is at third. Eduardo Nunez, the shortstop, Robinson Cano at second. Kevin Youkilis at first. Behind the plate, Francisco Cervelli. And on the mound is Karsten Charles Sabathia. Pitch to Victorino outside. Victorino, one of the Red Sox free agent signings during the offseason. They gave him a 3-year, $39 million deal. He split last year between the Phillies and the Dodgers. And there's a strike.
I kind of get the feeling that the Red Sox were betting on character as well with Victorino, trying to change the culture of their clubhouse after their sweeping trade last year, trying to reboot the whole atmosphere in that clubhouse. And Victorino, just a great teammate, just notoriously always been a team player.
1-1. Count 1-2. Red Sox have a new manager. It's John Farrell. Farrell managed the Blue Jays the last 2 years. And he was the Red Sox pitching coach from 2007 through 2010. Well liked in the organization. And they actually made a trade with the Blue Jays to bring him over because he had a year left on his contract with Toronto. The 1-2. 2-2. Victorino was a member of the Phillies championship team, also a member of the Phillies NL title team that lost to the Yankees in 2009. So he has big game experience. Grounded foul. And as we said on the open, CC Sabathia has to lead a staff that's going to have to win its share of 4 to 3 games. The days of the ball flying out of the ballpark not going to be as prevalent as it has been in the past. 2-2. Swing and a miss. He pulled the string. Victorino down on strikes. Let's look now at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. It is a really beautiful day at the stadium. 57 degrees, humidity 51%. The wind is 18 miles per hour. And it's partly cloudy, but the temperatures will stay steady.
See Sabathia's changeup. See Victorino just reads fastball the whole way. It's not necessarily the location, but the speed that got Victorino.
Here is Dustin Pedroia. Count 1-0. Red Sox had a very disappointing year last year, winning just 69 games, and they kind of tore the team apart toward the end of the year when they made that big money-dumping trade to the LA Dodgers. And Pedroia, one of the ones that stayed, he lines a single to center field. So a 2-out single for Pedroia. Let's take a look at the trade that kind of shook baseball. Adrian Gonzalez, Josh Beckett, Carl Crawford, and Nick Punto went to LA. And that's what came back. And it really was about the money going, not what was coming back. They got rid of the big Gonzalez contract, the Crawford deal, which was an albatross for them, and Josh Beckett, who was not performing as well as the contract would indicate that he should. I don't know how Nick Punto got in there. James Loney, you saw, who came to the Red Sox, has since moved on to Tampa. Here's Mike Napoli. 1-0.
There was some question in the offseason whether the Red Sox would get the deal done for Napoli or not, pending his physical, and had some hip issues on his MRI, but it eventually got done, and he's here.
And it got done on a much lesser scale. The original deal was for 3 years, and this one is essentially for 1. And they were scared off by some bad x-rays on his hip. But they did work out something, so he is here, and they'll take it year to year. One, 1-2. The biggest issue, though, is with the hip issues, he's not going to be catching as much as they had wanted when they initially sought to sign him. And today he's the first baseman. One, two. Swing and a miss. Got it. Napoli down on strikes. For the Red Sox, no runs a hit. 1 man left. Boston nothing, and the New York Yankees coming back. Sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Red Sox don't score in the top of the first inning. 2 strikeouts for Sabathia. John Lester on the mound. Let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup presented by Lexus. Yankees won 95 games in the American League East last year. They lead off their center fielder Brett Gardner. Eduardo Nunez in short will bat second, batting third, and playing second Robinson Cano. Kevin Youkilis at first base will clean up, batting fifth and playing left field Vernon Wells. Ben Francisco, the DH, bats sixth, batting seventh, playing right field Ichiro Suzuki. Jason Nix at third base, he'll bat eighth, and batting ninth and catching Francisco Cervelli.
See the big left-hander for the Red Sox, John Lester. Last year made 33 starts, a very uncharacteristic bad record and high ERA, but he did go 205 innings, 68 walks. Let's check out the scouting report from Tri-Honda Dealers. It's his third straight opener, and you know what? For a left-handed pitcher, there's 2 other pitchers in Red Sox history that have done that, and one of them is Babe Ruth.
The bunt is fouled and untouched behind the plate.
And the other one was Mel Parnell, who did it in 52 through 54. Babe Ruth made 3 consecutive opening day starts for the Red Sox in 1916 through 18. Lester had a great spring, 0.75 ERA, just 2 earned runs, 24 innings, and he's the leader. Lead and they will follow. The rest of the rotation will fall in line if this guy's number 1.
Brett Gardner did not get much sleep last night, so anxious to get here and get the season underway. Last year's season was just a wash for him because of his arm problems. Played just 16 games, and the Yankees need him to ignite this order. Swing and a miss. Lester against Gardner. Let's check out the Red Sox defense behind John Lester. We'll start in the outfield. Jackie Bradley Jr. is in left. Ellsbury in center and Victorino over in right. You've got Middlebrooks, Iglesias, Pedroia, and Napoli third to first. Saltalamacchia behind the plate, and John Lester is on the mound. Now, we showed you the Yankee lineup, and you see Gardner first and Nunez second, and then you have Ichiro batting seventh. And Girardi spoke about it today and said, with the lefty Lester on the mound, I didn't want to stack left-handers at the top and have Gardner, Ichiro, and Cano, so I split them up with Nunez. Nunez becomes a big part of the Yankees in the first couple of weeks of this season, as he hits out going down the left field line and out of play. With Derek Jeter back in Tampa, Nunez will essentially play most of the shortstop. Every now and then Knicks will get a start, but there's no real timetable on when Derek is coming back from that broken ankle. He suffered that in the first game of the ALCS against the Tigers and started out in spring training late. Got on the field. The most he ever played was 5 innings in a game, but just felt soreness, so they want to take it easy with him.
Well, which is understandable. You know, knowing Derek Jeter, he's going to push you to the limit, which is how he got hurt in the first place. But it's probably good that he's allowed more time just to get that ankle ready.
There's a ground ball up the middle, fielded there by Iglesias, 2 away. Let's take a look at today's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center. Inspired medicine. We talked about Jeter. Granderson's out with a broken forearm. First pitch that he saw. First at bat in spring training for him. Teixeira strained wrist. He suffered that in the WBC. Alex Rodriguez had hip surgery during the winter. And Phil Hughes has some bulging discs. So they don't expect that he's going to be out that long, but they want to take their time with him as well.
The best part about that injury report is that all those injuries happened early. So there is time for all those guys to get back.
Cano shows bunt and takes a strike. Red Sox playing him to pull. The third baseman, Middlebrooks, playing where the shortstop would normally play. And Iglesias is shaded up the middle. Cano not usually just a dead pull hitter. He can go right down the third base line. And they're pitching him away. Count 1-1. Cano had an unbelievable WBC performance. He was the MVP on the Dominican team that won the championship. And when he played in spring training games for the Yankees, he also hit very, very well. And Cano wants to make his performance in the postseason, which was so below par, he wants to make that a distant memory. Kevin Youkilis trying to make one fan one at a time.
What a great team the Dominican Republic had, too. What a lineup in the World Baseball Classic, and brought home the gold.
Yankee bench coach Tony Pena was the manager of that team. Did a very good job. They were enthusiastic. They played the game the right way. And they did win the whole thing. 1-2. 2-2.
Now, Michael, I thought it was interesting, too, because all the emotion that the Dominican Republic team showed, it was kind of, old school versus new school. Back in the day, you didn't show emotion when you got hits or hit home runs, but this Dominican team played with such passion and fire and showed their emotion and really made a statement on how they feel about going about it.
Count 3-2. On deck for the Yankees is Kevin Youkilis. Stays alive.
Robinson Cano should probably get used to these type of at-bats, being pitched very carefully. Probably going to see a lot of 3-2 counts this year.
Swing and a missed ball gets past Saltalamacchia. And Cano hustles to first. He will make it. So a strikeout and a wild pitch. And Kevin Youkilis will come up to the plate for the first time as a Yankee. Let's see the reception.
Half of the Yankees, the cleanup hitter. First baseman, number 36. Kevin Youkilis, number 36.
Now you have to wonder, are they booing or are they uking? It is a convenient name, like Lou Piniella used to say. I didn't know they were booing or looing. Longtime member of the Red Sox, signed as a free agent with the Yankees. Essentially signed to be the third baseman until Alex Rodriguez got back. But with the injury to Teixeira, a left-hander on the mound, Youkilis is playing first today and Nix is playing third. Alex is at the ballpark.
Kevin Youkilis led the Yankees in spring training with home runs, those 6 home runs and 14 RBIs. A nice sign to see for the Yankees and Kevin Long, the hitting coach.
Driven out to right field. Victorino is there, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. We played one at the stadium. There's no score. American Airlines, the new American, is arriving by your Hyundai dealer, and it's Perennial All-Star, the 2013 Elantra, and by Blimpie, America's sub shop. All right, first inning butterflies out of the way for both teams, and now we settle down to the second, and Will Middlebrooks will lead off against Sabathia. There's a strike. We talked about Youkilis being a longtime Red Sox, became somewhat expendable because of the promise of Will Middlebrooks. Count 0-2. David Ortiz starts the season on the DL, having a problem with his right Achilles. He had a problem with his heel and his Achilles at the end of last year. And the strange thing, he was a free agent, and the last couple of years they've been going year to year with him, and then they decide after he had those problems to sign him to a 2-year deal. And they're hoping that he heals quickly because they need that bat in the lineup. Count 1-2.
Michael, really interested to see Sabathia today, how he goes about it, because we really didn't see a lot of him in spring training. A lot of minor league simulated games, just a couple of starts in spring training, so he was kind of shielded. But I think you would expect Sabathia to continue to evolve as a pitcher in terms of, the days of throwing 97 miles an hour are probably over. He's going to be more in the low 90s now, but mix in his secondary pitches much more often. So far, he's had a really good changeup today. Got a couple of strikeouts on the changeup, and of course that sweeping slider that he's always had his whole career.
2-2. Grounded to third. Nix. One away.
See Sabathia trying to come in, and does. Kind of beats Middlebrooks in on the high hopper. Nix down the line. Plenty of arm strength.
That brings up Saltalamacchia. Count 1-0. He can hit the ball out. 25 home runs last year.
He's more noted for his power from the left side. I believe all of those home runs, but 1 or 2 were batting left-handed. So just as you said, Michael, kind of magnifies the point that David Ortiz in the middle of this lineup would really break up some of this right-handed pop, with Napoli coming over, and of course Middlebrooks back.
Count 2-1.
24-1. So yeah, left-handed. Of course, a much smaller sample size batting right-handed, which with Ortiz out, he's going to get a lot more at-bats right-handed this year.
Missed outside. 3-1. And he walks Saltalamacchia. Yankees have a little streak going. They've won 11 straight opening day games at home, dating back to 1986, and that actually is tied for the best record in the history of baseball with the team that plays across the street, across the river, the New York Mets, and they had won 11 straight opening day home games from 71 through 89. And in a strange scheduling quirk, both these teams are opening at home about 10 miles apart at the same time. Mets are playing the Padres at Citi Field right now.
That is unusual. You don't see that too often, 2 opening days in New York. But if you think about the Mets back in that era, they had Tom Seaver opening up a lot of those games. So that would explain that good record.
Johnny Gomes lines one off the glove of Nix. And everybody reaches as Gomes gets himself a single. Time for the MetLife I Can Do This stat of the game. Yankees are 35-14-1 on opening day at home. And as we mentioned, they've won 11 straight opening day home games dating back to 1986. Nix very close to making a splendid play, but the glove just not long enough.
Yeah, the difference between catching the fingers of the glove and catching the web. 2 inches from a great play.
Here is Jackie Bradley Jr., and he was the talk of Red Sox spring training. Has never played above Double-A. Came into spring training. They didn't know what to expect. He's a supplemental pick, so that's just after the first round. Played for South Carolina, where he won 2 national championships. But you see, what he did in spring training. In 419, he hit himself onto this team. He's from Virginia, a lot of family and friends at the ballpark to watch his major league debut. And he's the 7th Red Sox player to make his major league debut on opening day at Yankee Stadium. Tony Conigliaro was the last one to do that.
Rarely do you see a kid that comes in that hasn't played above Double-A and just forces his way onto the roster.
Top 5 Red Sox prospects, according to Baseball America, and Jackie Bradley Jr. is second. Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop, is first. Just missed outside. So he's got quite a stage for his major league debut, David. He's facing CC Sabathia. He's got a crowd of, I'd say, about 50,000 people, and he's at Yankee Stadium.
That's one of the things they loved about him, because he's a high on-base percentage guy, always has been, and he spit on that nasty slider as if he knew it was coming. The Red Sox really loved his approach, a very mature approach, very disciplined. Obviously has speed, going to give him the defense in the outfield as well. So just an all-around player, which is the reason why they chose to take the chance. Go ahead and bring him now, because he has a great approach, very patient at home plate.
Three and two.
See Sabathia, but you're facing a young kid, and you give him 2 really good sliders, and he takes both of them. Very impressive so far, this very first Major League at-bat for Jackie Bradley Jr. against maybe the best left-hander over the last 10 years in Major League Baseball.
First and second, 1 out. Runners stay put, and he does work a walk. Took some tough pitches, and the bases are loaded. Yankee pitching coach Larry Rothschild. MLB.com at-bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At-bat delivers Yankees baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text it back to 31826 or visit Yankees.com for details. Sal Talamaki at third. Johnny Gomes is at second, and Jackie Bradley Jr. is at first. Here is Jose Iglesias. And that one is chopped into the hole at short. Fielded by Nunez. Fires to second, not in time. Run scores. And a base hit for Iglesias, and the Red Sox lead 1-0.
You can see here, it is deep in the hole, and it had a couple of big hops before it got there. And you want to see Jackie Bradley Jr.'s speed? He's in.
Let's check out Yes Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. And the foot was in there just before the glove settled into Cano's, or the ball settled into Cano's glove.
And the fact that the bases were loaded gave Jackie Bradley a little extra room and easily got in.
Top of the order, and Jacoby Ellsbury. Hit sharply to first, fielded there by Youkilis. He's going to come home for one. That's all they'll get. Cervelli wanted to make sure his foot stayed on the plate to get that out, and the crowd with appreciative Uke chant.
Well, it's the right call by Uke at first, who's been over there before, knows what he's doing, gets the hop, takes the look. You've got time. Cut that run down. All you have to do is make sure you just get a chest-high throw and get it to Cervelli and take the force out at home.
Here's Victorino. He struck out in the first inning. Bases are loaded now with 2 outs. Drops a breaking ball in there for a strike.
Turns into a big at-bat early into this game. Sabathia would love to get out of this with just one run.
Pitch is high. 1-1. Already at 39 pitches. We're in the second inning. And his next pitch will be the 25th of this inning. So even if you get out of it, you're shortening your outing by having this sort of an inning. Unless you can get some single-digit innings. That's a base hit to left field. Bradley scores. Iglesias scores. It's a 2-run single for Victorino. And the Red Sox lead 3-0. And that'll bring up Larry Rothschild. Out of the dugout and to the mound.
Two-out RBIs can make or break you. I can tell you, being on the other end of this on the mound, well, that's a killer. Got a chance to pitch your way out of it. Trying to come inside. See Cervelli move in. Victorino just beats him to the spot. Tried to get it in a little more probably, but you got to give Victorino credit there. He just kind of cut him off from beating him on the inside of the plate. What a lift if you're Victorino. Big two-out couple RBIs, and then on Sabathia's part, a long inning now continues.
Tell you what, that was a problem for him last year, David. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Opponents at 417 against him. He could not get that big out last year. Pedroia takes low. One thing I'm noticing, David, his fastball's only about 89, 90.
Yeah, so far it looks like he's trying to two-seam some fastballs and get them down. He's had a good changeup, but can't quite get that four-seamer in on righties.
There's a strike. Cervelli in front of the plate, signaling to the infielders.
Certainly the weather's not a factor today for the pitchers. Beautiful here. Actually a better day than some of those days in Tampa during spring training. Approaching 60 degrees here in the Bronx.
There's a base hit to right field. Ellsbury rounds third. They're sending him home. Ichiro will throw the ball into Nunez. An RBI single for Pedroia. And the Red Sox lead 4-0.
Got a big hole on the right side. Cano holding the runner at second. Sabathia tries to come in again. And Pedroia with great back control. Almost Derek Jeter-like. Just inside outing the ball to right field. You can see there. Lead with the handle of the bat. Get the barrel on the ball. And shoot it to right.
There's Napoli as the Red Sox have now batted around. Count 1-0.
Why it's so tough to pitch Pedroia, because he has such great back control. He can inside out the ball in the inner half. He can turn on it. Hits the ball all over the field.
The change-up, count 1-1. Yankees have action in the bullpen. Sean Kelly.
3 of these runs with 2 outs. As you see Sean Kelly getting hot in a hurry. One of the things you want to avoid is the big inning. Now Sabathia is staring at a 4 spot here in the second and not out of it yet.
Count 1-2. And the pitch. Missed outside with the change, 2-2. Runners go. Fouled off. So Victorino and Pedroia tagging off when CC didn't pay that much attention to him.
Sabathia, the one problem this inning really has been a little extra on the fastball, especially keeping hitters honest inside. His secondary pitches have been good. The slider and the changeup good. The fastball in to keep those power hitters honest really has eluded him this inning.
2-2. High fly ball, center field. Gardner drifts back, and he makes the play for the final out. But the Red Sox put up 4. 4 hits, they leave 2. Yankees have a 4-0 deficit to deal with. Prius plug-in sweepstakes is now open. Go to Yankees.com/Prius to enter for your chance to win. Here was the question: what is your favorite memory from past opening day experiences? And Adam Bianchi 12 tweets us: opening day in Cleveland '96, Jeter home run and over-the-shoulder catch. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going. And David, you were there.
That was my favorite too. I agree.
As Vernon Wells, his first Yankee opening day, he grounds one to short. 1 away. Let's go back in the archives. And this was Derek Jeter against Dennis Martinez. He goes yard and also made that over-the-shoulder catch. It was a frigid day in Cleveland. First game of a year that turned out to be a Yankee championship.
Kid was all right after all the worry in spring training.
Ben Francisco will take a strike. So Lester has a 4-0 lead with which to work. Fouled away.
I really thought in that last inning, Sabathia gave up 4 runs. The key at bat, as you're looking, the great haul. It's a beautiful part of the stadium here, the new Yankee Stadium. All the banners, but Jackie Bradley Jr.'s at bat set up that whole inning. Sabathia had him 2 strikes and could not put him away. Bradley worked the walk and extended that inning, and the next thing you know, there's 4 runs on the board.
Count 2-2.
Great first major league at bat against a really tough left-handed pitcher.
Count 3-2. Mark Teixeira just a spectator with his wrist issue. And Ugal is playing first in his stead. 3-2. And Francisco works a walk. Alex Rodriguez hopes that he'll be back sometime mid-season, recovering from hip surgery. And here's Ichiro Suzuki. Came to the Yankees a little more than mid-season last year and really was an outstanding player for them. Helped them win the American League East. And didn't show age at all. Looked like he was rejuvenated, putting on the pinstripes, and did such a good job. Yankees signed him to a 2-year deal. With the Mariners last year, 261. There was talk that, you know what, maybe he's finally done. But with the Yankees, 322. And the Yankees are hoping that the pinstripes have that sort of elixir effect on a guy like Vernon Wells. And also, Ichiro has some milestones for which he's aiming, and he's just under 400 hits short of 3,000, so 2 outstanding seasons get him there. And when you combine the hits that he had in Japan with the ones that he has in the States, he'd be approaching Pete Rose's number as well. He was a hit machine. Snapped on to first, diving back, Francisco. $12.78 in Japan, 26.06 here in the States, 38.84 total. Taps slowly to short. Iglesias goes the second one on to first. Not in time.
See, Ichiro's one of the few hitters that really try to place the ball. You see there, that's a finesse style of hitting when he's down in the count. He almost wants to hit the ball softer or try to shoot it in the hole. And still runs well enough to beat out that double play.
Here's Jason Nix. Foul back. Nix had a solid season for the Yankees, filling in last year. Utility role, 243 with 4 homers and 18 ribbies. Against Lester lifetime, 7 hits and 24 bats with 3 home runs.
It's sort of a twist of fate for Nix. As you remember last year, it was him that came in after Nunez was sent out. Nunez failed sort of as a utility guy, so the Yankees sent him back down to play shortstop every day. And it's worked out because he's the shortstop here now. And Nix really solidified that position last year for the Yankees. Can play anywhere. Handles the bat well against left-handed pitching, including against Lester. 3 home runs to go with that 333 average. I think a lot of the Yankee fans, Michael, and you and I talked about it last year along with Ken Singleton, we were surprised they sent Nunez out last year. But he just obviously had some throwing problems, didn't feel comfortable playing third, didn't fit in well with that super utility role. So they wanted him just to concentrate on being a shortstop, and Nix was offered the opportunity and really took advantage of it. As it turns out, it was fortuitous because Nunez is now the shortstop until Jeter can come back.
Now, there were some questions after Teixeira got hurt. Why didn't the Yankees play Nunez at third during spring training? But the Yankees were worried that Jeter wouldn't be ready, and they did not want him to deviate from playing shortstop. They wanted to keep running Nunez out at short just in case Jeter wasn't ready, and it turned out that their fears were founded. He wasn't ready to play, so Nunez, working strictly at shortstop, got the reps he needed. Runner goes. Strike three as Nix is down looking. No runs, no hits, no errors, one man left. We've played two. It's 4-0 Red Sox. For nothing. And leading off for the Red Sox will be Will Middlebrooks. As we move along this inning, we are going to be joined by our colleague Meredith Marakovitz. We'll get to Meredith in just a moment. Meredith, it's been a barrage of press releases from public relations people, but for the first time, Alex Rodriguez spoke since Game 4 of the ALCS last year. What did Alex have to say today?
It was interesting. He was asked whether or not there was any concern that there would be a suspension regarding his ties to performance-enhancing drugs, and he said no, not at all. He did acknowledge, though, that he did meet with Major League Baseball as a part of their investigation into biogenesis. Aside from that, he really declined to comment, didn't want to get that too much into it, said he just wants to focus on the rehab process. As far as when he'll be back with the Yankees, still too soon to tell. He called his recovery stage 1 very early in the process, but did mention that he's feeling good. He is doing some things, but way too early to tell. The timetable that the Yankees originally set out was sometime around the All-Star break, but still too soon in the process to find out when he's going to be able to make it back. But he was very clear about this, Michael. He expects to be back this season. He expects to perform at a high level, and he expects to be wearing the pinstripes again before 2013 is out.
Now, Alex is obviously in uniform, and he was not introduced with the team, and whether that was his decision or the team's, we're not certain, but he was not introduced with the team, which would lead you to wonder how he would have been received, but we'll find out if and when he does come back, let's say in July, which is their plan, as Middlebrooks goes down on strikes. So Alex Rodriguez in the ballpark. He was not in spring training with the Yankees, which I'm sure was odd for him, but he was rehabbing in both Miami and in New York. And here he is with the Yankees today on opening day. Somebody who wasn't here last year on opening day is Francisco Cervelli. And Meredith, not only was he not here, he thought he had the team made. Last day of spring training, bags are packed, ready to go with the team. And then he was sent down to the minor leagues. What a difference a year makes.
What a roller coaster it has been for Francisco Cervelli, and really 12 months have been him trying to work hard to get himself back here. I had the opportunity to speak with him earlier today, and I said, what's going through your head right now? Last year, at this point in time, you were with AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Now you're the starting catcher for the New York Yankees. He just looked at me, smiled, and said, it's unbelievable. This has always been a dream of mine since I was a kid. For the last 10 to 15 years, I wanted to be a starting catcher in Major League Baseball. I always felt as though I could get here, and to finally be here for an opening day with the Yankees means so much to me. I asked him, what's the biggest difference in your game this year to last year? And he said, it's maturity. Also defensively, he got back to the basics. It was something with him that he admitted he kind of got away from a little bit. So really buckled down there, went to Venezuela, played winter ball, and really the Yankees saw some strides in his game. And he's a guy that's just excited to prove himself. He said, this whole experience really taught me something. It opened my eyes to the fact that I have to be ready all the time. I have to continue to work hard. There's always something to learn in this game, and if I take that approach, I think I'm going to be okay up here.
Meredith, we will see you on the postgame. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Michael.
Joe Girardi said before the game, David, that really doesn't have a plan yet for the catching situation. A lot of people thought that Stewart would catch today because CeCe had caught him, or he had caught CeCe 18 times last year. But I think they gave it to Cervelli because he had such a good spring and threw the ball so well down there.
Yeah, it's a reward, without a doubt, for a guy who handled it really well, went down, did his work after initially being shocked by being sent down last year, as Meredith pointed out. But this is a reward for Francisco Cervelli. A couple years ago, he and CeCe Sabathia worked very well together.
Looks like CeCe has gotten back in the groove after a rough fourth inning, and he has struck out the first two batters, now 0-2 on Johnny Gomes. Been such a beautiful day during the ceremonies of opening day. Now you look over the left field grandstand and some threatening clouds. I had read that there was a 10% chance of rain, and you hope that's not 10% out there, but it doesn't look pretty. A little overcast here at the ballpark.
Wouldn't be surprised to see the lights come on pretty soon here in the mid-afternoon.
High pop-up. Nunez will make the play, and that will do it as CeCe rebounds from the rough second to work a 1-2-3 third. We go to the bottom of third. includes savings off the game day ticket price and postseason options. Season ticket plans are available on both a full season and partial season basis with various options to fit what you're looking for. Buy your season tickets today. Call 212-YANKEES or log on to Yankees.com. Well, we talked about Cervelli, and here he is leading off at the bottom of the third. Yankees still looking for their first hit against Leicester. Red Sox lead 4-0. See the Lincoln scoreboard, 4-0 Boston. Leicester has some experience against the Yankees, 22 starts, 9-4, 4.10, but of late, his last 8 starts against the Yankees, he struggled, 1-3, 5.23. And Cervelli hits one a fairly deep center. Ellsbury backs up, and he'll make the play for the first time.
John Lester, the big lefty for Boston. We talked about having such a good spring training after struggling last year. Well, the first time through the order, pretty good. He's continued on from what he did in spring training, and a lot of talk about Lester really turning it around and being a #1 guy again. He really believes he can be. So does the organization and his new manager, John Farrell.
Brett Gardner takes a strike. You have to wonder, was last year just a hiccup? One of the best lefties in the game, but really struggled in 2012.
He had a renewed purpose this year in spring training, and everybody always talks about spring training numbers meaning nothing. Well, when you're coming off a bad year, spring training means something, even though they don't count. His own approach, his mental well-being, feeling much better about himself going into this year after kind of suffering through that subpar season last year.
And they were hoping that being reunited with Farrell could get him back to the pitcher he was when Farrell was the pitching coach. Now, Farrell's not the pitching coach now. Juan Nieves is. But obviously we'll have input on Lester's work. Tap slowly in front of the mound. Going to be a very tough play. Going to be a base hit. There's Gardner's speed on display, and he's on first base with 1 out.
You can almost sense John Lester knows it right now. If Salty can't get it, no sense of even trying. Just perfectly placed, swinging bunt.
Here's Eduardo Nunez. Now, we've talked a lot about what is a predicted decrease in home runs. Last year, the Yankees had 245, that they're going to run more and force the issue. But sometimes that's taken away, David, by being down 4-0.
Down 4-0 here. Bottom of the third, early in the game, 1 out. Joe Girardi's going to have to do more managing this year than he's ever done as a Yankee. Of course, John Lester, the lefty. Not too easy to steal on. He's not known for a real great pickoff move, but varies his delivery and can be quick to home, too. So not the easiest guy for Gardner to get a read on.
Gardner steals at an 82% clip in his career.
It's a great point, Michael. I think if you look at the trio of Gardner, Nunez, and Suzuki, you're looking at trying to get 100 stolen bases. If you could say Brett Gardner's healthy for the whole year, he's capable of 40 to 50, and of course Nunez and Suzuki maybe could combine for another 50 or so. And you'd want that 100 bases at an 80% clip if you could get it, because obviously it's not just the total number of stolen bases, it's the success rate that matters just as much. Let's see, possible pitch out. Going with multiple signs there. Lester and Saltalamacchia with a man on first base. Possible play being put on.
Still 0-2.
Generally a pretty good count to run on, 0-2. A lot of times base runners will anticipate maybe a pitch in the dirt or a strikeout type pitch. You see, obviously, all the signs come from the bench. The running game is handled from the bench and relayed to the pitcher.
Nunez had 19 hits during spring training. Hit .311, 7 ribbies. And because Jeter was unable to go, he played a lot of games in spring training. Started 24 games at shortstop for the Yanks. Runner was going, and the ball was popped up and out of play over the screen. So that shows you some of the aggressiveness. And if you're going to have to create runs, you're going to have to create runs even when you're down. But that puts such a premium on making sure that you make the right move and you steal at a high percentage. Because if you get thrown out down 4-0, it just looks awful.
It's not always just the total number of bases stolen, obviously, because you can run out of a big inning if your success rate isn't optimal. And nowadays, right around 80% is optimal.
Strike 3. Nunez down looking. Just clipped the outside corner, did Lester.
See, Lester just cuts this ball. Looks like it's away, and it makes a little left to right move. Saltalamacchia frames it. Ted Barrett likes it. Borderline pitch, but an excellent finish pitch from Lester. Probably around the plate, but very close.
Here's Cano. And that one gets away from Saltalamacchia, and Gardner off and running. Very alert. Didn't really go that far away from Saltalamacchia, but enough for Gardner to take off.
Quick read from Gardner, no hesitation.
They'll score that a wild pitch.
It does open up first base if Lester chooses to pitch around Cano, even though he has a platoon advantage here, lefty on lefty.
Another one bounced. The count 2-0. We talked about this on the pregame with Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry. This year, Cano is going to have to show a lot of patience, which is tough for him because he's so good that he could put balls off the plate in play. But they're not going to give him anything to drive, David, especially until somebody behind him shows that that's decent protection.
Which, as you pointed out too, Michael, is that makes Kevin Youkilis that much more important, batting behind Cano.
Driven out to left field and deep. Bradley back, still back, and he makes the play on the back pedal for the final out of the third inning. So Cano gave it a ride the other way, but Jackie Bradley Jr. in his first big league game went straight back, reached up, and hauled it in as we will go to the fourth. As we go to the fourth time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz, CC is making his fifth straight opening day start for the Yanks, one shy of tying the team record for consecutive starts. Now, who holds that Yankee record? We'll find that out. Bottom of the fourth. Jackie Bradley Jr. takes a strike. Joe Piscopo and Matt Lauer here at the game. And the Trumpsters here. Count 0-2. You ever hang out with Donald, David?
I have, yes. I've seen him on the golf course a couple of times.
Heard he's a good golfer.
He is. Very good golfer. Works hard at it.
Swing and a miss. Bradley down on strikes. Fifth strikeout for Sabathia.
Nice view.
I think that's from the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar.
That's it. Right dead center field.
There's a strike to Iglesias. Red Sox know that as a shortstop, he's big league ready. Is he going to hit enough to make it worth carrying that glove? Push bunt, and he's on. That's how he's going to get on. He's 2 for 2. He has an infield single into the hole and short, and a push bunt.
Well, just well designed with Sabathia falling off towards third base. You don't have to make it perfect. Just make Youkilis field it. No way Cano can get over there to help, and Sabathia can't recover and beat Iglesias' speed to first base. So that's really a play that should be utilized more, you would think, especially against left-handed pitching. As I said, didn't really need a perfect bunt. Just needed to get it on the ground and make the first baseman field it, and you got it.
Pitch to Ellsbury is outside.
Big lead from Iglesias, too.
Part of the backdrop here at the stadium. The elevated trains coming in and out on River Avenue. Count 2-1. You ever take the train in?
I have, yes.
Back when you played?
To the old stadium. Took it home after a couple of games.
How'd that work out for you?
It was fine. It was a good time. By the time I left after games, though, I was kind of old school. I used to hang around the clubhouse a little longer than they do now. It was pretty interesting. Carefree.
Count 2-2.
Back with Chuck Knobloch, was playing second base for the Yankees in the 90s. We used to walk through there.
Might be the quickest way out of in and out of Manhattan.
It really is, without a doubt. Especially today, if you think about the traffic around the area today with 2 opening days. One in Queens and one here in the Bronx. It's a good time to be on that train.
Looped in the left field, a base hit for Ellsbury. Iglesias will stop at second. So CC in a little bit of a jam, first and second, one man out, but he hasn't had that many tough times as a Yankee. In his first 4 seasons, 129 starts, which is second all-time. 74 wins, which is 4th all-time. 821 strikeouts, which is 1st all-time for any Yankee in their first 4 seasons. So he's been worth every penny as he signed with a free agent with the Yankees. Here's Victorino, had a big 2-run single in the second inning. He takes low, 1-0. Changeup's been very effective all day. Count 1-1.
Shane Victorino's always been a really good fastball hitter, both sides of the plate. In fact, it was a single to left field and got 2 RBIs on a fastball to Sabathia, trying to get in on him. Sabathia throwing a lot more sinky type fastballs today, it looks. Trying to spot his fastball.
Tap slowly back to the mound. Sabathia has 1 play. He makes it at first. The runners move up. And that brings up Pedroia. Pedroia is 2 for 2. Do you face a former MVP? Or do you walk him and take your chance with Napoli? Looks like they're going to face Pedroia. They're 2 outs, but he is the tougher hitter for sure. And they made the right choice, a grounder to Nunez. And that will do it. So CC works into out of trouble. We go to the bottom of the 4th, 4-0 Sox. Quick line quiz. Sabathia making his 5th straight opening day start for the Yanks, 1 shy of tying the team record for consecutive starts. Who holds the Yankees record? The answer, Lefty Gomez. 6 straight opening day starts from 32 through 37. Different starting opening day? Different feel?
Definitely a different feel. You feel the responsibility, you know, to lead your team, get them off on the right foot. It's an honor. Only the aces across the league get that shot. And just the excitement, opening day, it's almost like a national holiday. What a beautiful day here in the Bronx, too, that we've gotten so far, as the clouds seem to have cleared off.
Red Sox were talking yesterday about how odd it's going to see Youkilis in a Yankee uniform and clean shaven. Always had a goatee with the Red Sox. Not allowed here with the Yanks. And Dustin Pedroia was asked, could you see yourself doing that? He tried to avoid the question, and then he kind of smiled and said, well, I do own a razor. I guess, yeah. The 1-2. Missed inside. These are some that played for both. Babe Ruth, the most notable. Sparky Lau came over in a trade for Danny Cater, Wade Boggs, Roger Clemens, and Johnny Damon. And all 5 of them won World Series with the Yanks. That's a Damon Red Sox road jersey.
I think it was probably Roger Clemens who got the most heat when we went back to Fenway, because the Fenway faithful really gave it to him. It'll be interesting to see when Youkilis goes back to Boston what kind of reception he gets, but I imagine it would be a little mixed. I imagine there's still a lot of respect for the way he played the game in Boston.
Grounded and past third and down the left field line. That's going to go into the corner. And Kevin Youkilis is going to hear his first real Uke cheer.
His first Yankee hit's going to be a double. As you see, he's quick to the ball, down the line. Just keep it fair, right over the bag. Good pitch by Lester. And even better hitting by Youkilis to keep this fair right over the bag.
Now, there was some talk on whether or not he'd be accepted by Yankee fans. First of all, if he hits, he will. Second of all, bottom line, fans end up rooting for the laundry, as Jerry Seinfeld said, rather than the person in the laundry. It's nice when it happens that you root for both. Vernon Wells fouls it away, but you want your team to do well, no matter who's wearing that uniform.
A couple of game-winning hits, some good defensive plays will go a long way towards the Yankee faithful welcoming Youkilis into the fold.
I was asked by a lot of people, why would they sign Youkilis? And I said, well, there would have been a lot of ground balls to left field if they didn't. They don't have a third baseman. And it was a nice move by the Yankees. Now the guy at the plate, Vernon Wells, they are hoping that he can rediscover the stroke that made him such a great player while he was with the Blue Jays. He's had 2 subpar seasons with the Angels. The Yankees short an outfielder because of the loss of Granderson. They take a flyer on Vernon Wells. Ground ball. Foul ball. Wells cannot believe it. But Dan Bellino, hands straight up in the air, said foul ball. And Joe Girardi has a pretty good look at it. Not really arguing. Wow, I don't know, David.
It looked very similar to the Youkilis play, maybe slightly left, but you could certainly make an argument that that's over the bag, or at least catches part of the bag.
I thought it caught the front left corner of the bag.
You see Wells is pleading with the home plate umpire to overrule that call, but it's not going to happen. As you see, this ball's hooking, but as long as it goes over the bag in the air, that's a fair ball.
I thought that was a fair ball. I think Wells does as well. The 0-2. Now, these are the spots last year that Wells really struggled, and a guy who used to have such top shelf skills. With runners in scoring position last year with the Angels, he was just 8 for 68, 118. He was an eyelash away from getting a hit in his first at bat in those situations with the Yankees, and that kind of releases the pressure. But let's see if he can bounce back.
There's no doubt, that the Yankees remember the Vernon Wells that they used to compete against when he was in Toronto. The Yankees did not make this trade based on numbers. Everybody in the sabermetrics community sort of threw their arms up in the air when Vernon Wells was traded for, but they are banking on him with a bounce-back season, of him regaining some form, and also the way he swung the bat in spring training. He showed signs of life. He seems to be over his thumb injury. He's been devastated by injuries throughout his career, and they think he's healthy again.
1-2. He said during the offseason he watched a lot of video, and the days when he really was a good player with the Blue Jays, and you see his career resume there, he could field for sure, great center fielder back in the day. He had stopped going to right field a lot, and he was one of the worst hitters going the other way last year, and he said he's going to do that more this season. Count 3-2.
You would hope that maybe being around Kevin Youkilis might rub off, because Youkilis is sort of the Greek god of walks, as he's referred to in some circles, and always gotten deep counts, always works it, always high on base percentage. And that's what Brian Cashman was looking for in the offseason.
And he gets a walk. So he rebounds from the disappointment of what looked like a bad call by Molino, works a walk, and the Yankees have a rally here against Leicester, trying to get back in this game. They're down 4-0. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Second walk issued by Leicester. Ben Francisco got the first one. Good look from the third base upper deck. Nice crowd here at the stadium on opening day. First and second, nobody out. There's a strike. Fastball on the outside corner.
See, another one of the new Yankees, Ben Francisco, had a good spring. 3 home runs and 9 RBIs in spring training this year. Hit 308 and really kind of hit his way onto this team as well, even though the Yankees obviously had a need. Finds himself in a big spot here early.
Popped up. Saltalamacchia will make the play. Battled a burst of sun behind the plate for the first out. These are the tough days because the sun is out and then burns through a cloud, and you can see he was staring right up into a tough sun.
Yeah, that's a big league pop out and a real tester for a catcher. Saltalamacchia stayed with that one very well when it looked like it was going to get away from him.
Now here's Ichiro. Grounded softly to short in the second.
See, the times Ichiro has looked to pull the ball in this Yankee Stadium has usually been early in the count. Ichiro obviously known more for his hits and his speed, but did sort of change his style here in this ballpark with the short porch in right field, and did show some home run power last year, including a 2 home run game. Reached the second deck here in right field and won one of those home runs. And generally speaking, when Ichiro looks to turn on an inside pitch, it's early in the count. And a good time to do it here on a 1-0 count. If he can get something on the inner half of the plate, try to get 3 runs with 1 swing, get the Yankees right back in it.
70 pitches for John Lester. That one is looped in the right center field. That ball is going to Duncan for a base hit. Runners can only advance a base They didn't know if Ellsbury would catch up with it, so a base hit for Ichiro, his first of the year, and the Yankees have the bases loaded.
Full swing, a little bit off the end of the bat, and I think that's where Youkilis got fooled, especially knowing Ellsbury's speed in center field, so he holds up. I think Vernon Wells gets a better read, as you see here. He sees it much better. Youkilis is kind of bouncing and waiting. Has to make sure there on an in-between play. But that's what happens when the ball's off the end of the bat. The full swing looks like it's going to travel further than it did. Might have even broke his bat on that off the end of the bat.
All right, big spot early for Jason Nix. He struck out looking in the second, has the bases loaded with one man out. 1-0.
Suddenly and quietly a high pitch count, as Michael mentioned, for John Lester now, all trying to work out of the bottom of the fourth here. The 73rd pitch coming with the bases loaded.
Nix hit well here at the stadium last year, a .307 hitter with 3 home runs. Youkilis at third, Wells at second, and Ichiro is at first. Foul back. Up and away. 2-1.
One of the early turning points in this game, or the mid part of this game. You know, the Yankees have to get something out of this. You know, if Lester's able to pitch out of it too, what a huge lift for him and the Red Sox, even with that elevated pitch count.
This will be the 25th pitch of this inning for Lester. The 2-1. Shattered bat, foul ball. Just outside third.
Let's see, Lester with that hard cutter in, and another shot down the line. This one easily fouled compared to the other two. But that's what happens when you have a left-handed pitcher, as Yankee fans know, watching Andy Pettitte pitch all those years. Coming inside to right-handed batters with a little bit of a cut fastball, you're going to see some action down at the hot corner. Lester made a really good pitch to saw off Nix right there to get back to even at 2-2.
Two-two. 3-2. Yankees really making Lester work.
Almost tell by the body language from Lester on the mound that he thought he had Nix was going to chase that pitch. On a 2-2 pitch to go with a curveball down in the dirt. Nix spits on it, and now he forces a 3-2 pitch with the bases loaded once again.
Foul back. Saltamaki gives it a look. Yankees love the job that Nix did last year for them. David and I mentioned how he filled in at all positions, played the outfield, infield, but he also got big hits. With runners in scoring position last year, he had 12 hits and 37 at-bats. We told you he hit well at the stadium, and he also has 3 lifetime home runs against Lester, so a good spot for him. And let's see if he comes through.
A real professional player. Gives you professional at-bats and can play anywhere on the field.
3-2. Strike 3. Nix down looking. Second time he goes down looking against Lester. Big pitch for the Red Sox lefty.
We're going to look at the pitch by pitch here. Lester and Nix. Starts him off, misses way in. Up and in. Nix probably chased ball 2 there. As you see now, a changeup. Showing some respect. There's the saw job on the in half. 2-2 takes a chance with the curve. Nix fights off a fastball away. And a pitch at the knees from the overhead cam. Got plenty of plate. I think Nix thought that might have been low. It was borderline, probably too close to take. Looked like a pretty good pitch to me.
All right, here's Cervelli now with 2 outs, bases loaded. 0-1. Cervelli's odyssey last year well documented. Last day of spring training, bags are packed, ready to go. Opening up the season with the Yankees, and they made a deal for Chris Stewart. He was called into the office, absolutely stunned and shocked that he was sent down. He'd been a member of the Yankee team for a couple of years. All of a sudden, he's going down to the minor leagues. And for the first month, his head wasn't there until his mom and dad showed up and snapped him to attention. Said, you want to get back, you've got to play hard. You've got to show them that they made a mistake. When the Yankees let Russell Martin sign with the Pirates during the offseason, that was the opportunity Cervelli needed. He took advantage and had a good spring training. 1-2.
I don't think there's any doubt that the Yankees still liked Cervelli very much when they made that move last year. I think they felt like if something happened to Russell Martin, they would call Cervelli up from AAA last year and probably be the starting catcher. I think they viewed Chris Stewart as more of a professional backup, a very solid player, but probably more suited to be a backup to an everyday catcher. But Chris Stewart also established himself last year. I thought played very well, handled the pitching staff superbly, along with Russell Martin.
Line drive, base hit, down the left field line. 1 run scores, 2 runs will score. It's a 2-run single for Cervelli, and the Yankees are on the board and back in the game. It's 4-2 Sox.
Well, here's the Yankees with a little 2-out magic on their own. Sabathia was hurt from 2-out RBI hits, and now Cervelli saves this inning for the Yankees. Once again, down the line. Got to keep it fair, right on the chalk. 2 outs, 2 RBIs. Yankees cut the lead in half. Kind of ties them up. Lester's got that good hard cutter in. Right on the chalk.
Kevin Euclid's doing some umpiring there, helping out Bellino. Lester saw it the other way. He gets a visit from the pitching coach Juan Nieves, who heads back to the dugout. So the Yankees really needed that. They got it, and they got to feel good about things. And what a opening day so far for Cervelli. And Junichi Tazawa, one of 6 left-handers or right-handers in the Red Sox bullpen. They carry 1 lefty. He's up. So Ichiro made his way to 3rd on that one. Cervelli is at first, still 2 men out, and here is Gardner. Outside.
It really is a crusher. You know, Michael, when you're on the mound, you're #1 starter, it's opening day, and you're giving up those big 2-out hits. Both they burned Sabathia back in the 2nd inning when he gave up 4 runs, and now Lester here. Cervelli getting him with 2 outs.
Line drive, right field. Victorino is there. He'll make the play for the final out of the 4th. But the Yankees get 2 runs on 3 hits. 2 men left. Go to the 5th. 4-2 Sox.
Padres, and the Cubs with a lead over the Pirates. And of note in our nation's capital, it's a Bryce Harper kind of day. 2 solo shots by the reigning National League Rookie of the Year has the Nats ahead of the Marlins 2-0. Guess it's kind of a Steven Strasburg sort of day too there, Michael and David. 3 hits scattered over 7 innings. He struck out 3.
Bob, it's so good to have you in the booth.
Thank
it really
you.
is.
I always love being here with you guys.
Yeah.
I feel a little overdressed, actually.
Well,
normally this is a point where I got the sleeves rolled up in the studio.
Yeah. We should have done that in your stead.
Yeah, but you guys still look good.
You know, you're right.
You could just throw on a burlap sack, Michael, and you'd still look good.
And I have. We will talk to you later.
Sounds good.
All right, that is Bob Lorenz, and we go to the 5th inning, and Napoli takes a strike from Sabathia. So the Yankees get right back in it with that big 2-run bases-loaded single by Francisco Cervelli. Napoli 0 for 2 against Sabathia. Pitch outside.
Thanks for coming, Bob. That's all we get from him?
That's all you get.
No, he'll be back. We got it covered from all angles today. See, Sabathia is still out there. Got a little bit of a new life here. Got a chance. Stay in this game.
Taps softly right side. Over is Cano. And there's one away. Verizon customers, you won't have to miss a game again now that you can watch live Yes Network Yankees games on your PCs or laptops with Verizon Fios. Now get a full season of live Yankee games on the go for just $29.99. If you're a Verizon Fios TV customer with Fios Internet, go to YesNetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. Here is Will Middlebrooks. And that one is popped up. And the former Red Sox third baseman puts away the present Red Sox third baseman for the second out.
Just what the doctor ordered for Sabathia. Quick first 2 outs. Middlebrooks first pitch swinging. Got a chance to have a real quick inning here, stay in this game, and get Lester back on the mound after that long inning last inning.
And there's a strike. Saltalamacchia walked and scored in the second and then struck out in the third. Struck out looking. That changeup's been a great pitch all day for him, 1-2. The only concern is that usually you want a 10-mile-per-hour difference between the fastball and the change. Today it's about a 5 or 6 mile an hour difference, but still effective. The 1-2.
It's probably one of the better fastballs he's thrown today. He's probably topped out about 91 or 92. But getting inside, that good four-seamer inside on righties has been the trouble. At least in the second inning it was. And a pretty good one there.
An efficient outing except for that second inning where he threw 34 pitches.
You can see one of the keys, he goes right back to the changeup. One of the keys is just keep the hitters honest on the inner half of the plate. Being able to bust some guys inside, double up inside to protect that good changeup that he has. Sabathia with confidence wants to go right back to that changeup.
Misses. 3-2.
You can see the circle grip, 3 fingers on the ball. It takes some of the spin off, some of the velocity off, but the arm speed still says fastball. And you can see that one misses up and away.
Line drive, base hit. Wells cuts over, and he'll play the ball off the wall. So Saltalamacchia with a 2-out double. David, I'm sure that you saw the story in the baseball preview issue of SI, but Tom Verducci wrote about the way that the Tampa Bay Rays developed their pitchers, and certainly had a good history of it. They accentuate the changeup. They make you throw the changeup. They will not let their young pitchers throw the cutter because they say that's a pitch you can learn later on. But the changeup is the key for them. They want them to throw it 15 to 20% of the time.
Well, that's probably a good thing to do with young pitchers. To not only throw the changeup, but to command your fastball first and foremost. As you see, Girardi's going to come out and get right in Sabathia's face to find out how he's feeling, making sure he's okay. Just a quick visit and back out. And what did you think he was going to say? You know, Sabathia, I'm fine. I'm staying in this game at 88 pitches. 2 outs facing Johnny Gomes, but yeah, back to Tampa Bay's philosophy. I think that's a great philosophy for young pitchers. You know, first and foremost, spot your fastball. Get good command of your fastball. Locate your fastball. Throw your changeup off your fastball.
They decide to intentionally walk Gomes, and they'll go after the kid, Bradley.
You see what the visit was about, and even more importantly now was the platoon advantage. Jackie Bradley Jr., a left-handed batter, Sabathia, a left-handed pitcher, and they're going to go lefty on lefty here with first base open.
David Phelps getting ready. So an intentional walk to Johnny Gomes. And here's the kid, Jackie Bradley Jr., his first big league game. Told you a supplemental pick for the Red Sox a couple of years ago, so he's been on the fast track. Never played above Double-A. 2 national championships with South Carolina, and one of those national championship runs, he was the MVP. So he has skills. In his last year at South Carolina, he was hurt a couple times, so injuries slowed him down, and that allowed the Red Sox to be able to pick him with a supplementary pick, which is usually in the 40s, 30s to 40s. John Farrell, the Red Sox manager, spoke before the game about Jackie Bradley Jr.
He clearly makes our outfield defense better today. What he produces offensively remains to be seen. We'll certainly take what he did in spring training. But, no, we're excited to start his career today.
And he started with a walk and a run scored in the second, and he struck out in the fourth. Also made a nice play on Cano in left field. Count 2-1, and one of the things they loved about him in spring training, an over 400 on-base percentage. He takes pitches.
He does. He's always been a high on-base percentage player through his college career and early minor leagues. And also, the other part of that is, you know, Boston needs a young hope. New England is really excited about this young kid and the Boston fan base.
So they walk Gomes to get to Bradley, and very quickly 3-1 on the rookie. 22 years old. Walked him. Not what they were looking for, as the bases were loaded. So now they will try to get the light-hitting Jose Iglesias out, although he's had an infield single, a deep short, and a push bunt single toward first. So he's 2 for 2.
Some obvious red flags with Sabathia and the pitch count up. Approaching 100, as you see, Cervelli's going to go out and talk to him, but he's starting to drop his arm a bit. You start to elevate the ball and miss up with your fastball especially, then you know there's possible fatigue setting in. the fact that Sabathia has been the Yankee ace for so many years now allows him a little slack on the leash in this situation.
Sabathia's thrown 22 in this half inning. Lifetime against the Red Sox, 8-9 with a 4.23. And since joining the Yankees, he's 6-5 with a 4.39 against Boston. Phelps now a spectator. He's ready. We're about to see the 100th pitch by Sabathia. And it misses inside.
Sabathia forced into a position you have to throw a strike. Do not want to see it go to 3-1 with the bases loaded here.
2-2.
He did, and Iglesias had a good swing. But certainly, probably Sabathia's last hitter of the game. A chance to get out of this jam.
The 2-2. Popped up. He is going to get out of it. Youkilis settles underneath it and makes the play. So Sabathia works into and out of trouble. The Red Sox lead the bases loaded. We're halfway through. Red Sox up 2. All of that added up to Red Sox 4, Yankees 2 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. And Eduardo Nunez was thinking about a push bunt. Couldn't get it done. Fouls it off, so the count is 0-1. Eduardo was 0 for 2 so far today. Grounded to short, struck out looking. 1-2. Strange because he's been such a part of the furniture for so long. Derek Jeter not in the opening day lineup. He had missed one with injury, a calf injury, I believe, in 2001. But he is back in Tampa, I'm sure, watching this game as he rehabs his ankle.
You know, I can sort of empathize with Derek because he so wanted to make this opening day roster. He places a lot of pride on not missing games and playing through injuries. And I can understand why he's not here today. He doesn't want to be a distraction. He's working on his rehab down there.
Swing and a miss. Nunez down on strikes. Yankees opening week on Yes is brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
But nonetheless, just to finish that point, Michael, very strange not to see Derek Jeter introduced today. Even if he is on the DL, just a really missed here, Derek Jeter. Just his presence, even if he can't play.
Well, right now, Derek and Mariano are tied for the most seasons in Yankee history by a player. Derek and Mariano with 18. Yogi Berra and Mickey Mantle also 18. So when Mariano gets into a game, he'll have the most seasons as a Yankee. And then when Derek gets healthy, same deal, though he tied with 19. As Cano picks up his first hit of the season, a one-out single here in the fifth. There's Mo, received the biggest hand during introductions before the game. And here is Kevin Youkilis. He started the Yankees' two-run rally last inning with a double just inside third. Lined out in the first inning, so 1 for 2 in his Yankee debut. It was Youkilis and Bobby Valentine's criticism of Youkilis that kind of started the ball rolling downhill for the Red Sox last year. Bobby had said that he didn't think Youkilis was playing with the same emotion that he had in the past, and that caused Dustin Pedroia to say that's not how we do things here. As Youkilis hits one to right center, Ellsbury's there for the second out, and that was not a good thing for Bobby because if you lose Pedroia, you might lose the team.
Yeah, it happened early in spring training. It sort of was a preview of how the season was going to go. Youkilis so popular not only in the clubhouse among his teammates, but also within the fan base up in Boston. You got to kind of understand Bobby Valentine speak to sort of understand what he was doing there. I think he was probably trying to motivate Youkilis a little bit, but ended up sort of alienating him. And the rest is history at this point.
Here's Vernon Wells. Vernon had an impressive walk, if you can have an impressive walk in the fourth inning. Hit what should have been a double down the third baseline, but Bellino called it foul. Looked like it clipped the left inside corner of the bag, but did not get down on himself and then worked the walk against Lester. Line down the left field line, but hooking foul. Now in spring training, when Wells came over, he was issued number 56. And he said, I guess I'll just be rocking Lawrence Taylor for a while, but opening day, they've given him number 12. Dan Johnson wore number 12 in spring training. And Vernon Wells down looking to end the inning. No runs a hit, no errors, one man left. We played 5 at the stadium. It's the Red Sox 4 and the Yankees 2. bullpen brought to you by AT&T. Sabathia labored through much of this game, surrendered 4 runs all in the second inning, kept them off the board otherwise. And now the Yankees will turn to David Phelps for an early relief call to start the 6th. You see what Phelps did last year, 33 games, 11 starts. Now he's essentially the 5th starter, but they're not going to need him for a while, so they work him out of the bullpen here. And that serves almost as a throw day.
Yeah, very versatile. As you see last year, 96 strikeouts in 99 2/3 innings, and that continued this spring training. I think his last outing, he had 9 strikeouts in 5 or 4 2/3 innings. So, as you see, Lester probably done too. He's getting the congratulatory handshakes, and looks like his day is done as well as the game face comes down and the smile comes up.
And as for Phelps, if in fact Hughes does not miss the start and can come back when they need the 5th starter, Phelps is going to be working out of the bullpen. And not because Nova pitched better, but I think that Phelps is more versatile than Nova. And he's a better pitcher out of the bullpen.
Yeah, I think he's probably more used to it. He can get loose quicker, warm up quicker in the pen, be ready to come in the game in a tight spot. And Phelps is just a strike thrower, too. That was what was so impressive about him last year, is he doesn't mess around. He's on the mound, he gets the ball, he challenges hitters, throws a lot of quality strikes.
Very serious young man and prepares. He won an award during the offseason, Thurman Munson Award at the dinner, and he gave a speech, and you could see he'd done the research on Thurman Munson and was talking to Diana Munson during the dinner to find out about Thurman, wants to know the history of the Yankees, and that's impressive when a young kid comes up and does stuff like that. And that's the breakdown, starting and relieving. Impressive, all good numbers. And Ellsbury wraps one into right center field, and that's going to be a base hit. It's going to get into the gap. Cut off before the wall by Ichiro. Ellsbury's rounded second, going to third. Here's the throw! And it's off the chest of Nix, and Ellsbury is in there with a triple.
Phelps trying to get this on the inside corner, misses out over the plate, and Ellsbury drills it. And right out of the box, Ellsbury's thinking 3. Ichiro gets to it. Pretty good cutoff. Right to Cano. No chance here. You see Ellsbury just runs too well. Cano gets rid of it quickly. A little bit of a short hop on Nix. They would have taken a perfect throw to get Ellsbury. And tell you what, if it was perfect, he might have got him. But a good chance by Ellsbury.
Yankees bring the infield in with Victorino at the plate. And a ground ball to second. Cano fields, holds the runner, and one away.
Phelps, excellent pitch. Ties up Victorino with a breaking ball on the inside corner. Keeps it on the infield. Victorino, first pitch swinging, does him a favor.
Here's Dustin Pedroia. He is 2 for 3. And a strike. We're in the 6th inning on opening day at the stadium. And the Red Sox lead 4-2. Yankees start their 111th season, and the Red Sox their 113th season. Pitch outside. Grounded and grabbed there by Nix. He's coming home, and they get Ellsbury. Good play by Nix.
Phelps gets it on the ground again. Ellsbury going on contact. Nix makes the play. Cervelli makes the tag. Cervelli with the shin guard and the sweep of the tag and gets him before Ellsbury can touch home plate. all the way around. Good play. You wonder why Ellsbury would go on that? That's a set play. You're going on contact, and Major League teams will put that play on a lot of times with one out, feeling like it's going to take a perfect play no matter where the ball's hit in order to throw the runner out at home, and that's what it was.
And you can see Pedroia was red hot. He did not get the job done. And credit where credit is due, a good call by Ted Barrett, because the tag was put on the knee before the foot hit home plate. Count 0-1 to Napoli.
And that's a play that's been around for a long time. As you see, that comes from the bench, meaning that if you're a runner on third with one out and the ball's hit on the ground anywhere, you break. You're going on contact unless the ball's in the air. And that's the play. And they feel like, more times than not, that it's going to work out in the favor of the runner. That time, not at all, especially with a hard ground ball to third base.
You like that play?
When I'm on the mound, I liked it. And Phelps kind of got a break there. But it's been around for a long time, and Major League managers and coaches swear by that play. They feel like it takes just such a perfect play to throw the runner out at home, on the ground, anywhere on the infield, even with the infield in.
And it took a good play on both ends by Nix and a good tag by Cervelli.
Especially with a speedy runner, and Ellsbury obviously with good legs on third. Force the issue is the idea behind that play. Put the pressure on the defense, and the pressure was on Nix. He made the good play, made the good throw, and then Cervelli made the tag. And even with that, a hard ground ball to third, it was still very close at home. So that shows you the idea behind the go-on contact play.
2-2. Popped up. Shallow left. Vernon Wells comes on. And Phelps gives up a leadoff triple and works out of it. We go to the bottom of the sixth. Yanks down 4-2. To learn, do more. He quickly graduated to the tape room. Became one of the best at his craft, working on national and local sports broadcasts, including multiple World Series and the Super Bowl. And our thoughts and prayers go out to his parents, Tony and Camille, his sister Danielle, and his niece Riley, lost much, much too soon. We go to the bottom of the sixth inning. Red Sox lead the Yankees 4-2. Red Sox scored their 4 runs in the second inning. The Yankees scored their 2 in the fourth. And now it becomes the bullpen's property. CC went 5, and Lester is going to go 5 as the Red Sox go to the bullpen. And when you talk to people around baseball, David, they say that this could have been one of the best signings that any team made during the offseason. Koji Uehara, look at the walk to strikeout ratio. He doesn't walk anybody. And he did that last year in Texas. free agent signed by the Red Sox. They wanted to lengthen their bullpen. It certainly does that.
Yeah, the numbers are undeniable. Not only he doesn't walk anybody, but didn't give up a lot of hits either. 20 hits in 36 innings.
All right, so Ben Francisco, his day is over. Travis Hafner will make his Yankee debut, pinch hitting for Francisco. And there's a strike for Uehara. Right in on the hands and pops it up. Middlebrooks was shading towards short, and he makes the play. For the first out, they did shift Middlebrooks over to the right side of the infield, so that was Iglesias. They kept him around short. I apologize. So you score that as a 6, not a 5.
And that comes as advertised. As John Farrell said, they were going to do some extreme shifts this year. Boston worked on it all spring training. You would expect to see that all year long against hitters of type, Hafner's type quality.
Ichiro pops it up. This one's Middlebrooks for the second out. Let's take a look at Wednesday's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios quantum internet technology that makes you feel superhuman. That's powerful. It's Clay Buchholz going for the Red Sox. See what he did last year against Hiroki Kuroda. And our coverage will begin at 6 on Yes. Game time will be right around 7:07. 6 o'clock, of course, is the BP show. 6:30, we'll have our pregame show, so we have it covered from beginning to end.
Another good matchup. Kuroda was great for the Yankees last year, even through the postseason, and continued this spring. And Buchholz, also a real strong spring, trying to establish himself behind Lester in the Red Sox rotation.
So Lyle Overbay now pinch hits for Jason Nix. His first at bat as he takes a strike. So Overbay will stay in and play first, and they'll move Youkilis from first to third where Nix started the game. High pop-up, left field, an easy inning for Uehara. Jackie Bradley Jr. makes the play, and the Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3. And we go to the 7th inning. Boston 4, New York 2. Hits. Yankees 2 runs on 5 hits, and that's the Cadillac scoreboard. David Phelps in his second inning of work. Right now, Phelps is scheduled to start Saturday against the Tigers. And we'll see if that plays out. Again, we said that this would be a throw day.
And an important throw day as he wants to hold it right here, give the Yankees a chance against the Red Sox bullpen. Lyle Overbay, he can pick it. He's at first base. And Kevin Youkilis moves over to third.
So the value of Youkilis to go corner to corner.
Middlebrook's 0 for 3 today. Takes pitch up and in.
You know, Michael, I think he really got the sense from the Yankees when they picked up Overbay late in the spring after being released, ironically, by Boston, was that they really just needed him for his defense.
Well, David, what the Yankees did was make mid-spring adjustments because they brought in Matt Diaz and Juan Rivera. And then, obviously, the injury to Granderson heightened their sense of urgency about an outfielder. And they got Ben Francisco, they got Vernon Wells, so that kind of eliminated the need for Matt Diaz, who had a rough spring anyway. And then they get Overbay, and they had 3 days to make a decision on him. And they made the decision, as you said, based pretty much on the defense, because Juan Rivera did not have a terrible spring. But Overbay's a better first baseman than Rivera, who's an outfielder by trade.
Got to feel pretty weird for Overbay. You spend the whole spring with the team you're playing against right now. Throw on the Yankee uniform. Here it is, opening day.
And the Red Sox kind of made the choice of Mike Karp over Lyle Overbay. So that's what that came down to. And the Red Sox probably knew that the Yankees would grab him. They know the situation the Yankees were in without Teixeira. And they waited as long as they could, maybe wondering would the Yankees take a flyer on this guy just seeing him for 3 days, but they did. And Overbay had a little bit of a problem because on Friday he shows up, or should I say on Thursday he shows up at Steinbrenner Field thinking that the next day's game is in Viera, Florida against the Nationals, and he sees everybody's luggage there and everybody has to travel on the Yankee charter with a jacket and tie. And he sent his wife back to Fort Myers. She had to have 5 hours in the car with 4 kids to get him another jacket and tie and the proper clothes to travel to D.C. It is a little strange that they just didn't go to the International Mall in the spring for a little bit of a sport coat, but I'm sure he had a pack. She probably packed for him as well.
Yeah, she packed for him as well. Yeah, I'm sure he wanted all his clothes with him. But yeah, it's not that hard to get a navy blue blazer.
But you hear stories about that all the time, about how the wives really are the unsung MVPs, where they've got to pack up kids and move in an instant when there's a trade. 4 little ones making a round trip to Fort Myers from Tampa. Saltalamacchia spins around to the left side and fouls it off.
Yeah, lay the clothes out on the bed. What you're going to wear today, you know. Maybe that right fielder from Cincinnati, maybe. I don't know.
The 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2. David, you see Phelps. He throws a fastball there at 90. Why does his fastball play a little bit faster than the number?
I think he's always in attack mode, and he gets a little bit of movement on it. He's got a nice little swing back, you know, what Ken Singleton calls the spillover pitch on the inside to lefties. He gets a lot of his strikeouts, like, you know, and Greg Maddux did that as well his whole career. Gets a little late tail on that fastball, so not only does he have excellent control, he can manufacture a little movement and get some freezers on the inside corner.
You're going to talk about Maddux, and he was the pitching coach for Joe Torre on the USA team in the WBC. And I spoke to Larry Boa, who's the bench coach on that team. And he said he has never been around a person, double-barreled action for the Yankees in their pen, never been around anybody who knew more about pitching than Greg Maddux. And he said, if I ran a team and it cost me $1 million to have Greg Maddux as my pitching coach, I would think it would be a bargain. But Maddux isn't quite ready to commit to that yet.
I think it's just great that he accepted that role, to have him back in the game. I completely agree with Larry Boa. Greg Maddux, one of the best craftsmen I've ever seen pitching. People talk about, Randy Johnson or even Roger Clemens, the power guys of my generation. Greg Maddux, without a doubt, was the best artist, the best craftsman I've ever been around. Just got more out of his talent than anybody. Excellent control, change of speeds. Phelps has kind of patterned his style after that a little bit. And when he gets up in the count on left-handed batters, he can dot that inside corner with a tailing fastball. His secondary and pitches have improved as well. Improving breaking ball, kind of a slurvy slider, and a changeup is to go with that. But, I think Phelps' best finish pitch is probably his fastball. When he gets him a chance to strike guys out, it's getting it in a good location with a little movement on it.
Saltalamacchia fouls it back. Along with David Cohn, Meredith Moragovitz, Bob Lorenz, Jack Curry, Nancy Newman, Sarah Kustok, Chris Sheeran. We are all here, and we thank you for joining us on Yes on our opening day telecast. Rounded foul outside of first. Did I leave anybody out, David? I think I got them all, right?
Just about got them all, yes. At least of all the people who think they're important. Start getting to the real important guys, the camera guys, the guys in the truck, the guys who really run this operation.
You're absolutely right. The 2-2 inside. Getting somewhat overcast again here in the Bronx. Kind of threatening skies, but so far the weather's held off. Keeping Middlebrooks close. Let's see if they send Middlebrooks. Saltalamacchia looking down at the new Boston Red Sox third base coach, Brian Butterfield, who came over with John Farrell from Toronto. There's Butter out of the Yankee farm system. 3-2, runner does not go, and there's a walk. So 2 walks to open up the 7th inning for David Phelps.
Very uncharacteristic of David Phelps. Jumped ahead of Saltalamacchia and lost him, and you sort of wonder now how far they're going to push Phelps here. If he's scheduled to start on Saturday, they could probably push him a little further. As you see, he's backed up right now. With Logan on the left, and Sean Kelly on the right.
There's Johnny Gomes. And there's a strike. Yankees really have to pick their spot early in this season when to bring in Boone Logan. He is the lone left-hander of the bullpen. Clay Rapata, who had some arm issues in spring training, was designated for assignment. Used so much last year. And used well. And did a good job. But they needed a spot on the 40-man roster to make room for Lyle Overbay. And so they designated Rapata for assignment. So one lefty in the bullpen early for the Yanks.
Get an education in the rules of baseball and the roster mechanisms that can go on. The reason for the 40-man roster is so you can only protect so many people in your organization.
Driven out to right field. Giving chase is Ichiro into the corner, and he'll make the play. Tagging is Middlebrooks. He'll go to third. So the Red Sox have runners on the corners with 1 out. And with the rookie lefty swinging Jackie Bradley Jr. coming up, this is when he decides to use his left-hander, Boone Logan. So Joe Girardi makes his way out to the mound.
Boone Logan will come on. Logan against Bradley as the Yankees try to hold it right here. Results will be revealed in the post-game show. Big spot in this game. Yankees down 4-2. Red Sox threatening in the 7th. First and third. One man out. And Boone Logan comes on. Had a good year last year. He struggled a bit in spring training at his last outing against the Black Knights of Army at West Point on Saturday. He really gave up a lot of hits against those kids and ended up giving up 4 runs as the Yankees saw a 5-4 lead go to 5-0 lead go to 5-4. Yankees ended up scoring to pad that lead, but that was a rough outing for Boone Logan to finish up the exhibition season. Let's see how he bounces back against the rookie Jackie Bradley Jr. In fact, Logan struggled all spring. He had 5 spring appearances, 0-1, 6.75. His arm was barking just a bit. He was shut down. And then he said something odd. He goes, "It doesn't hurt when I pitch, but it hurts after I pitch." Like, just in everyday life. Yankees need him to be healthy.
That's pitcher speak there. I certainly understand what he's talking about. A lot of times when you get your arm loose and hot when you're throwing, the pain goes away. It's after you pitch or when you're sitting around when all of a sudden the inflammation comes back and you feel the pain.
Shows bunt, takes inside. Logan made 80 appearances last year for the Yankees, and that's the most single-season appearances by a left-handed pitcher in Yankee franchise history.
It's just about every other game, if you think about it. It's a 162-game season, and Boone Logan almost in half of those.
Now, Joe Jordy and Larry Rothschild do a good job of not getting people up without using them, but I'm sure he was up a couple of times and didn't come in, so he worked a lot. Keeps showing bunt. Looks like it's more of a safety. It's not a suicide. Otherwise, a runner at third would be coming. But you see Brian Butterfield staring in to Farrell. Those are the major league leaders from last year. 4 tied with 80. 3 tied with 78.
Former Yankee Randy Choate on that list.
And David, I'm sure you know through all your years, when you use a pitcher a lot in one year, that's okay, but usually you get the manifestation of that use the next year. Clay Rapado was used a lot last year, arm barking. Logan, arm barking, and you hope that it doesn't happen, and Logan looks like he's pitching through it.
He is, and the one One thing he can look forward to is the guys swinging the bats today are swinging wood bats as opposed to the kids up at West Point.
That's true. Again shows bunt, the count 3-1. This kid has walked twice already in his major league debut and struck out once.
Interesting strategy. It seems to be working. It sort of unnerved Logan out there and worked the count to 3-1. A lot of times when you see a hitter square around early, it can be very distracting on the mound.
Off of Logan, slows it down, and they have one play. They make it at first as a run scores. Not sure if that gets through if he doesn't slow it down. If it doesn't, then it would have been a double play. What do you think, David?
We'll get a good look here. I would have thought that was headed for center field. I think Logan got enough of it to slow it down. But it's possible where Nunez was playing that he gets it, steps on the bag, and even with Bradley's speed, gets a double play. You see, off the glove, that was heading more towards the shortstop side of the bag. Nunez was cheating towards the bag a bit, so it might have been a double play.
Big run scores, runner goes to second, 2 outs now, and Iglesias takes a strike from Logan. 2 infield singles for Iglesias, one to hole at short, and another a push bunt toward first. And he also popped out to Euclid at first. Some life on that fastball for Logan, 94 miles an hour.
Yeah, his velocity's good. He's certainly free and easy today.
.95 miles an hour. Foul back.
Boone Logan, certainly. We talked about his workload and 80 appearances last year, but good stuff. Very tough, especially on left-handed batters. Good sharp slider and excellent velocity. He has become one of the elite left-handed relievers in all of baseball on the setup role, based on the last couple of years, but especially last year's performance.
Dribbled slowly to third, going to be a tough play. There will be no play. 3 infield hit for Iglesias using his speed as Saltalamacchia moves to third.
Well, not much to do here. You're on the mound, you make a good pitch, you tie up the hitter. Euclid's playing back. 3 bounces, no chance. Iglesias runs too well. See Saltalamacchia coming around, and Euclid tries to fool him a little bit, but he won't be fooled. Salty's not going anywhere.
Here's Ellsbury. He's 2 for 4 today. There's 1-1.
See the Red Sox now with 10 hits on the day. Every which way. They've hit some hard balls, they've hit some infield hits, and they've got a bunt single. Taking advantage of some opportunities.
Ellsbury's had some success against Logan. 5 for 10 lifetime against the Yankee lefty. The big year for Ellsbury. He's a free agent at the end of this season. And the Red Sox, I guess as a hedge against Ellsbury possibly leaving as a free agent, they would just slide Jackie Bradley Jr. into center field. So Bradley is playing left as Ellsbury's still the center fielder, but again a free agent. 1-1. Strike 1-2.
So Sabathia started this game, had 4 walks. Phelps with 2 walks. He kind of kicked off this inning. So 16 base runners. 7 innings here for the Red Sox. Probably could have scored more than they have up to this point.
That one is punched toward the shortstop Nunez. He makes the play, and that will do it. But a big run for the Red Sox. 1 run, 2 walks, a hit, and 2 men left on base. At the end of 6.5 innings of play, it's time for the 7th inning stretch here at Yankee Stadium. But we stay right where we are as we honor America here in the Bronx. So let's listen to the public address announcer here at Yankee Stadium, Paul Olden.
Today, Bryce Harper, 2 solo home runs against Ricky Nolasco of the Marlins, and Steven Strasburg making the start, going 7 innings, allowing just 3 hits and an economic 80 pitches. And I sent it back to Michael and David. David, they've got him for a full season. He only had to throw 80 pitches, not by any limitation today, but the fact they had Tyler Clippard for 1 and Rafael Soriano to wrap it up. So a full season of Strasburg is going to help the Nats.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, that start would have looked pretty good in the playoffs last year, but that still stings me a little bit, but that's ancient history. Strasburg's ready to go, and I guarantee that he's motivated to prove himself after sitting out the postseason last year.
And so many people look at the Nationals and say they're the favorites to win the World Series. You see the Cadillac scoreboard. Red Sox lead the Yankees 5-2. And Bob, we'll see you on the postgame show with Bob, with Jack and Meredith.
That sounds great. See you guys then.
Great. Andrew Miller, the lone left-hander for the Red Sox, will come in to pitch the 7th. And he's going to face Cervelli, Gardner, and Nunez. A lot of people are curious to see how the Red Sox, particularly John Farrell, is going to close games. They did acquire a closer from Pittsburgh, Joel Hanrahan, but he has trouble throwing strikes. Andrew Bailey is closed. Alfredo Aceves has closed, although they would not close with him. Going to be interesting to see how they work it, though. It's probably going to be Hanrahan.
I would imagine they would give him an early shot. You know, as you said, Andrew Bailey was the Rookie of the Year a couple years ago before he had his arm surgery.
How about them sending down Josh Bard? Guy throws 100 miles an hour. Daniel Bard, I'm sorry. He had been a great setup man. They thought that he was going to be the closer when Papelbon left, but they decided to try to make him a starter. He was going to go back in the bullpen this year, and it just didn't do it. He hasn't been able to do it. Harness that great stuff.
It's kind of been a checkered history with young power arms being shuffled from the bullpen and then back to the rotation, and then the Yankees had Jabba Chamberlain and their story, and Cincinnati had the same story as with Chapman. Cervelli with another good at-bat walks a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 7th. But Chapman with Cincinnati was the great closer last year, and Cincinnati toyed with making him a starter as well. And I think that's what happened with Bard in Boston. They tried to make him a starter, and next thing you know, he kind of got caught in between and lost a little confidence. And now they're trying to rebuild him, although he did pitch fairly well in spring, but they still think he needs some more time to get back to where he once was.
And it was interesting. Chapman said, I want to go back to the bullpen. He really didn't want to start. Pitches outside as Andrew Miller has come in, not throwing strikes. He walks Cervelli. He's 1-0 now on Gardner. Salto Lamacchia tries to settle him down. Nieves quickly on the phone to the bullpen.
Juan Nieves, the new Red Sox pitching coach this year, widely respected around the league.
Count 1-1 to Gardner.
Very upbeat, very positive pitching coach. He's made a good impression on this Boston staff so far.
Got some information from Adam Berry of MLB.com. He reported via Twitter that Phil Hughes threw 7 innings in a minor league game. Now he's expected to pitch Saturday for the AAA Yankee team. So it will be David Phelps who pitches in Detroit. And then Derek Jeter got back on the field today, played catch for a couple of minutes on the backfield in Tampa. So they're taking it very slow. If that's what he's doing after being shut down just playing catch, it could be a while. They backdated him to the 22nd, which means he's eligible to come off on April 6th. But if he's just playing catch today, that doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, and they're going to take their time at this point. I mean, the clock has stopped. You know, the opening day is here, and he's in Tampa, so no reason to rush.
3-2 on Gardner.
And I think the thing that was a telltale sign with Derek Jeter was the fact that he had another cortisone shot. So whatever soreness he was feeling, even though it's normal after the type of surgery he had, it still required a cortisone shot. And you're going to need some time to allow that to take effect and rebuild some strength from that point on.
And a walk to Gardner, and that is not what John Farrell wanted to see. He brings in Andrew Miller, and he walks the first 2 batters that he sees. So he has a righty ready for Nunez. Does he go to him right here? He's poised, and he's going to send Nieves out. Now, we're not quite sure how he's going to work this, whether he will make the pitching changes, but Nieves looks like he's more in the conversation jog rather than a lifting jog. Wind is whipping up at the stadium, starting to feel a little bit cooler as well, as the sun has certainly gone behind the clouds, and the flags look as if they're blowing out toward right field. So Eduardo 0 for 3 on the day. Grounded to short, struck out looking, and struck out swinging. Yogi Berra had said in an interview during spring training that this kid should get 500 at-bats. He's got a lot of life in his bat, in his body, and he should be out there so he can take advantage of his skills. So this is his opportunity with Derek rehabbing in Tampa to show what he could bring to the party. And he takes one right down the middle. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Also heard, David, that Yogi was here today, which is great news.
Yeah, fantastic news that Yogi feels good enough to come to the ballpark. And always a pleasure to see him, and it's a motivating factor for the Yankees when you see Yogi Berra in your clubhouse.
I know everybody was a little bit down that he wasn't able to make the spring training this year. Travel is tough for him. But for him to get here, as David said, that's a great thing, and it does really make people feel good to see him around the ballpark. The 0-2. Strike 3. Nunez took it right down the middle, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. So a rough day for Nunez, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
Well, after the 2 walks, there's no messing around here. That is right there. See Nunez right on by, just above the knees. Sometimes you can get locked up by curveballs. Sometimes 98 miles an hour will lock you up as well.
Here's Cano. Cano has always hit lefties well. Last year he struggled against lefties. Today he is 1 for 3. Kind of a wave at that breaking ball. That's when Andrew Miller is tough. He throws 98 and then can get that slider over. That's a pretty tough combination.
There's some guys that are just cut out for relieving. Andrew Miller with that power arm is really taken to relieving.
We told you struggles against southpaws last year, 239. Wore out righties.
You know, a lot of debate about, if you've got a young power arm, is he more valuable as a starter? Well, of course he is. You can use him more and pitch more innings, but it comes down to emotions and mentality, and some guys are just cut out for the mentality of a reliever.
The 0-2. Line drive down the right field line. It's a foul ball. just a little too quick inside.
Cano all over this one. This one kind of rolls and stays on the inner half of the plate. And the only chance there was if Cano could have got inside that a little more and kept it fair. Juan Nieves, one of the great pitchers from Puerto Rico of all time. Great left-handed pitcher. Career kind of cut short by arm injuries, but did throw a no-hitter from Milwaukee in his career.
The 0-2. 1-2.
In fact, I think his no-hitter ended with the great Robin Yount catch in center field. After Robin Yount, the Hall of Famer, had moved from short to center field. Juan Nieves. Excellent pitching coach and great Puerto Rican pitcher.
98 outside, 2-2. Boston 5, Yankees 2. Yankees with runners on first and second, one out. Youkilis is on deck. Youkilis will probably not face Andrew Miller. They'll bring in a righty, especially with Vernon Wells on deck. 2-2. Struck him out. Dialed it up and blew it right by Robinson Cano. And John Farrell will take the ball from Miller, and he will go to the bullpen. Let's see how he attacked Cano, David.
Well, after the two walks, he's not messing around. I mean, Cano reading fastball, gets a nasty slider, jumps up 0-2, and then he hung it there. That was the pitch Rob he wanted. Now he wastes another slider. Off the plate at 97. Let's go up the ladder. That's hard to hit above the belt at that velocity.
Well, Kevin Youkilis with a big spot against his former teammates. Stay tuned. The Sox. It was against the Braves. Pretty much knew he was traded. They let him hit anyway. He ends up hitting a triple. Off the field. Tips the helmet. Says thank you. Gets a hug from his buddy Dustin Pedroia. A curtain call and then off to Chicago to join the White Sox.
Pretty remarkable. You just don't see that every day. Players get traded all the time. I certainly had my share of trades in my career, and you never get the chance to sort of tip your hat and say goodbye like that. It's usually clear your locker out. You're no longer welcome. Get out of here.
Well, here's Andrew Bailey. Acquired last year to be the closer. Injury riddled. Appeared in only 19 games. And he deals to Youkilis. Now, they're using here in the 7th inning. So they're going to have to come up with an 8th inning guy to get the ball to Hanrahan. But they figure this is the big spot. Count 0-2. David Ortiz starts the season on the DL with the Achilles injury. Just missed outside. So Andrew Miller showed a little of the bad and a little of the good. Sometimes a lack of command, other times just simply dominating.
Andrew Bailey's got his stuff back, too. Good looking sliders there, too. He showed Euclid 95 miles an hour on the top end and 78 on that curveball. More of a slurvy slider look to it. But good bite.
Foul back.
I think it's safe to say that Andrew Bailey's fully recovered from the surgery he had, even though he did come back last year. Sometimes it takes a little longer to recover, to get that arm strength all the way back, and looks to me like he's back.
Swing and a miss. 95 upstairs. So the Yankees, first and second, nobody out. Nunez strikes out. Cano strikes out. Euclid strikes out. And we go to the 8th. A lost opportunity for the Yankees in the 7th inning. They could not get it done after 2 walks to open the inning, then 3 straight strikeouts as the Red Sox bullpen dialed up the velocity and got some big outs. So now we go to the 8th inning, and the Yankees will try to hold it right here at 5-2 Red Sox. And they bring in Sean Kelly. Kelly picked up off waivers during the offseason. Yankees love his slider. And it came down to Sean Kelly or David Aardsma. And they went with Kelly because Kelly can give them multiple innings while Aardsma is essentially a 1-inning guy. Hyundai scoreboard, Red Sox 5, Yankees 2. And a strike to Shane Victorino. count 2-1.
I think there was some interesting calls by the Yankees down at the wire on who was going to be in the bullpen. Aardsma was a surprise to me, Michael. I thought, the time vested in him by the Yankees, seeing him, sort of nursing him through his Tommy John surgery to bring him around. And at the end of the day, they sort of just gave up and let him go. And that shows you what they think of Sean Kelly. They really like his strikeout ability.
Tap slowly to third, charging Youkilis, 1 away. And it seems like the decision comes down to Kelly and Aardsma, and in essence, that was the actual decision. But the Yankees could have also said, we'd rather have Aardsma than Cody Epley, because Epley really, after a good season last year for the Yankees, struggled in spring training. And they decided to stay with Epley and designate Aardsma for assignment. Aardsma used to be a big-time closer with Seattle, and then had to have Tommy John surgery, as David said, and the Yankees had him around a couple of years as he came back from that. And this was a year they were supposed to cash that check, so to speak, but they decided to designate him, and they have 10 days to trade him or release him. 1-1. Chopped up the middle. Nunez is there. The Yankees really worked in the spring, specifically Mick Kelleher, on Nunez's throwing. They wanted his throws to be from behind the ear, not so much of a full windup, because that gave him more room to make a mistake and throw the ball wild. And they said that he did very well in shortening his stroke, so to speak.
Well, he could learn from one of the best. Derek Jeter was the master of that, and before him it was Cal Ripken, on how to save your arm, how to shorten your arm stroke, and how to throw the ball just hard enough to get the runner out. You don't have to air it out all the time. Accuracy and quick release.
Napoli fouls it away.
I think Cal Ripken Jr. might have been one of the best I've ever seen when he was still at shortstop. It just that little sidearm flip throw it just hard enough to get the runner. And if you need to put something extra on it, it's there. But the average throw was just kind of saving your arm. See a much shorter stroke right up to the ear, almost like a catcher, and then low three-quarter delivery. Not quite sidearm, but you can see Nunez has got a great arm, very, very good arm strength, but you don't need to always show that off. Just get the ball out of your glove, get rid of it quickly, and have it be accurate on the bag.
And knowing that Nunez is going to be at short and has had a history of somewhat erratic throws, I think that played into the decision to keep Overbay as well. He could save you some errors. But so far he's been true on his throws today. Swing and a miss. Impressive inning for Sean Kelly. He retires the Red Sox in order, 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Vernon Wells, Travis Hafner, and Ichiro Suzuki coming up. Capital. At GE Capital, we're not just bankers, we're builders. Imagination at work. By Tri Honda. Hurry to your local Tri Honda dealer for great deals on the 2013 models. And by Johnny Walker Black Label. Let's toast to success. Please celebrate responsibly. Images from the concourse here at Yankee Stadium. Some of the great photos that you see when you're here at the ballpark. Yogi digging into some pasta. And now, Junichi Tazawa will take over for the Red Sox, their fifth pitcher. 1.43 ERA in 37 games last year, 45 strikeouts in 45 innings and just 5 walks. Yeah. I have become familiar with that. Here's Vernon Wells. Fly ball, right field. Victorino into the corner will make the play. Hyundai scoreboard 5-2 Red Sox, 49,514 on opening day. That's the largest opening day crowd in the history of the new Yankee Stadium. So it is indeed a sellout. A lot of people have headed home, though, as it got a little bit chillier. Here's Travis Hafner, popped up to short in his first at bat, pinch hitting for Ben Francisco. And they have 3 infielders on the right side for Hafner. In fact, one's in shallow right field. Fouled away. Well, that's more drastic than what we see from Mark Teixeira.
You can see that, Joe Madden, the Tampa Bay Rays manager, kind of started this trend to employ these type of shifts more often. And obviously, the Red Sox taking it to the next level. This is softball style. When you have the extra, the slow pitch softball game, when you have an extra fielder that can float out in short outfield. See Pedroia way out there. He'd really have to charge a hard ground ball that gets through there to make a play at first.
One and two. First part of last season, Mark Teixeira kept thinking about going the other way to try to fight that. And then he finally said, you know what, that's not the hitter I am. They're taking me out of what I do well. And he just was up there trying to pull the ball. The 1-2. Jabba Chamberlain will pitch the ninth for the Yanks. Lester started. He went 5. Then Uehara pitched the 6th. Combination of Andrew Miller and Andrew Bailey in the 7th. And now Junichi Tazawa here in the 8th.
It shows you the evolution of the game. And talking about starters and relievers, this is the 3rd straight reliever that has shown 95+ velocity on their fastballs. Haven't even seen the closer yet.
Line drive, and that will beat the shift. Victorino thought about throwing to first base. Hafner is not gifted with speed, but he makes it with a single.
Well, they got the pull part down as Hafner gets a ball almost off the plate and yanks it. But just to the right of Pedroia. Not enough room to go get it for Pedroia. And hit a little too hard. But Victorino does think about a shot at first.
So Hafner's first hit as a Yankee. And that brings up Ichiro. Oh and 1. Rounded right back to Tsuzawa. There's one. On the first, they double up the speedy Ichiro to end the 8th. We score that 1-6-3. We are going to take it to the 9th with the Red Sox up by 3. Jack Curry will recap all the opening day festivities. They're right here at the stadium. And Meredith Morakovitz gets the reaction from the clubhouse, including Joe Girardi's opening day thoughts. It's all later on the postgame, and it's only on Yes. That's who's in. Number 62, Jabba Chamberlain. And Joe Girardi revealed today, you see what Jabba did last year, coming back from that ankle injury, and also from Tommy John surgery. Jabba's a 7th inning guy. He said Jabba's going to pitch the 7th, Robertson's going to pitch the 8th, Mariano will pitch the 9th, obviously with the game the Yankees are leading, and he will spot Boone Logan maybe in the 7th inning to get a lefty, and then have Jabba come in to get the other batter if it's a righty. Here's Will Middlebrooks. He's 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Jabba certainly had a great time on Saturday at West Point. All of us did that. We're part of that trip. He sat in the right field bleachers with the cadets and then was tweeting throughout the game. You see both teams and throughout Major League Baseball, they're wearing that patch on their uniform to honor the victims of the Newtown tragedy. And on each side, you've got 13 stars adding up to 26. That's for the 20 children who lost their lives in that massacre and the 6 teachers.
And that was at Sandy Hook Elementary School. And our thoughts and prayers go out to all affected, as well as the first responders that did such a good job that day. So around Major League Baseball, we honor the town of Newtown, Connecticut. The 1-2. Foul back. Jabba made 11 appearances this spring, 2.61 ERA and 9 strikeouts in 10 1/3 innings. There's a slider. Did he go? No, he did not. That was the first base up, Alfonso Marquez.
Jabba, Chamberlain, much like Andrew Bailey on the other side with the Red Sox, both having gone through Tommy John surgery. Even though they both came back last year, you do need that extra time to build arm strength, and Jabba's shown better arm strength.
Drops a breaking ball in there for strike 3. That's a case, David, where the change of speed got the batter, because as a slider, that's up.
Yeah, you could see just the front hip opened up. Middlebrooks was locked up. He thought it was going to be a fastball up and in. A little bit of a jelly front leg, and once you get that, you can get away with sliders right down the middle.
Here's Jared Saltalamacchia.
Still good bite on it, even on a high slider. Still broke quick. You know, everybody's talking about Tommy John surgery. You know, sometimes it's a blessing for pitchers, and they come back throwing harder. That's not always the case. There's the ones you don't hear about are the guys that don't come back, the ones that do struggle with it. I mean, it's not without risk, the Tommy John surgery, even though it would seem like you see a lot of examples of guys who come back and end up just fine or throwing even harder. That's a bit of a misnomer, because there's several cases of guys who never make it back after Tommy John. But with that being said, it takes more than a year to come back, and I think Jabba's arm strength's finally starting to come back.
There's a strike. 1-2. You see the unfortunate souvenir from that surgery, and he got better as he went along last year. You can see by the splits. Missed outside, 95-mile-an-hour fastball. So Jabba got some good velocity today. Another fastball, just missed.
It's a case in point right there. You know, in years past, you would have seen Jabba in a strikeout situation to a hitter like Saltalamacchia go right to the slider. And feeling good about his fastball. Took 2 shots right there with it.
And he walks him on the breaking ball.
One of the things for Jabba, you know, obviously that he knows his role in the 7th inning is becoming less predictable. You know, trusting that fastball more. And you see even there, he took a shot, 3-2 with the slider. He needs to become less predictable and really use that fastball to finish off hitters at times as well.
Line drive, left field. And that's in front of Vernon Wells, a base hit off the bat of Johnny Gomes. Told you Jabba had a blast at West Point, signing autographs for the cadets out in right center field, doing their salute that they do during the game, and then taking some pictures and tweeting them out. Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. And there's a strike. count 1-1.
Pretty impressive debut so far, even though at first blush you see 0 for 2. But to go with that, on base twice with 2 walks, an RBI, and also a great play at left field on the defensive end. You could just tell by his approach, Michael. I mean, he's going to work the count. He's got an idea of what he's doing up there. He's going to grind out at bats, take some pitches. He's going to live up to his billing as a potential high on base percentage type player.
This was a catch David talking about off the bat of Robinson Cano.
Ball was hit, and he's on the horse. Not an easy play.
Two. Jabba wanted that one. Count 3-2. Red, white, and blue bunting along the first base line down the right field line, really whipping in a strong wind. You can see Jabba's uniform also blowing in the breeze.
Really dramatic change in the weather over the last hour.
The lights are on here at the stadium. Runner goes on 3-2, but it's ball 4, so Jackie Bradley Jr. walks 3 times in his major league debut, and Jabba has himself with the bases loaded. So Jabba looked great against Middlebrooks, punching him out on a slider, but a walk, a single, and a walk. Well, the bases are now loaded for Iglesias, who is 3 for 4 today. Might be a little bit of a distraction for the batter because a lot of hot dog wrappers and stuff blowing out of the stands. You can see him in right field. I think it's starting to rain just a little bit here at the stadium as some fans are retreating for cover. Cody Epley getting ready in the bullpen. Now the wind is so strong, we have a camera that's mounted on the backstop called a Fletcher cam, and you can see that the wind is whipping that around. And the one on the roof also being affected. The 0-2 swing and a miss, got him. So Iglesias down on strikes for the second out. Red Sox 5, Yankees 2. Here in the 9th inning. Bases loaded, and here is Ellsbury. 2 for 5 today, so his 6th at bat of the game. Ground ball right side. And bobbled and no play, and Cano's going to come home. And also 2-run score. As Johnny Gomes hustling from second base. Scores behind Salto Lamakia, and that is a killer on a ground ball to the right side as the Red Sox now lead 7-2. Overbay range far to the right. Cano got over and could not make a clean grab. Also didn't have anybody to throw to.
Well, that was it. Overbay ranging far, and Cano off the heel of the glove, really no play, and then gets caught flat-footed. And Cervelli gets caught out in front of the plate. As you see, the ball hits the glove, rides up. Cano's got to adjust, bare hand, can't get the hand on. Cervelli's way up in front of the plate.
Now, Jabba did get over, but I don't think he had a play at first base on Ellsbury, who's very fast, especially
after Cano had the initial bobble. So they're going to score that a single and 2 RBIs, no error. And there's a legitimate base hit through the right side. A run scores. And Ellsbury moves to second, starting to rain a little bit harder, and it's raining runs as Red Sox now lead 8-2. And Joe Girardi is going to go to the bullpen. He will take the ball from Jabba. He's going to go to Epley. Two here in the Bronx. Coverage starts at 6 with the Audi batting practice today, and then the Tri-State Ford pregame at 6:30. Only on Yes. Game time right around 7:07. It is really coming down here at the stadium. And usually you see wind whip up like that. That's what follows. You hope it blows by, but it didn't. Most of the sellout crowd have either run for cover or gone home. And right now the Yankees are trailing this 8-2 as they go to Cody Epley to get out of this. First and second with 2 outs. Epley against Pedroia. We told you Epley struggled in the spring. He had 8 appearances. He was 0-2 with a 10.13 ERA. He gave up 9 runs in 8 innings.
I think 5 of those runs in 1 outing without getting an out as well. So small sample size can skew it a bit, but certainly did struggle.
That one goes all the way to the backstop as the runners move up on the wild pitch.
The Red Sox with 13 hits and 8 walks offensively today. So a lot of base runners.
Grounded up the middle. Nice play by Nunez. Scrambles to his feet, fires, and a nice scoop by Overbay to end the inning. Good play on both ends. Nunez getting to the ball. And a not easy scoop by Overbay to end the inning. But the damage has been done. Yankees coming up in the bottom of the 9th, down by 6. Yankees ended up giving 3 runs to the Red Sox. Now it's 8-2. But the Red Sox had warmed up their new closer, Joel Hanrahan. See what he did last year with Pittsburgh, but pitching for the Red Sox and pitching in the American League East is a completely different animal. So I guess Farrell's looking at it this way, David. A nice way to indoctrinate him to the American League East. Not a lot of pressure with a 6-run lead.
Yeah, that's it exactly. And an off day tomorrow. So let's go ahead and break him in.
Now, if you want to have a quick scouting report on Hanrahan, he probably walks too many people for closer, and that's a scary proposition to put runners on in the East, but we'll see how he does. Here's Overbay. Here's a strike. You saw the value of Overbay on the last out at the top of the ninth. A really nice play ranging up the middle by Nunez, showing a lot of range, but then throwing the ball low, and Overbay with the backhand scoop to end the inning. If the ball gets by Nunez or gets by Overbay, it's 2 more runs. Overbay pinch hit in the 6th inning and flied out to left.
See, the modern day game, the way the bullpen is shaped up around it, really both leagues, is all the hard throwers are in the pen. Lester had good stuff today, but his velocity was probably the lowest on the totem pole.
Overbay with a high fly ball to right. Victorino battles it all the way, but makes the play on the warning track for the first out. Yankees, or the Red Sox, got Hanrahan the day after Christmas. They sent Mark Melancon, who they thought was going to be a good setup man for them last year, Ivan De Jesus, Jerry Sands, and Stolmy Pimentel to the Pirates for Joel Hanrahan and Brock Holt. And you might remember the names De Jesus and Sands. Those two were in the Dodger trade, and they sent those 2 guys out. So here's Cervelli, one of the few bright spots for the Yankees. In fact, he drove in their only 2 runs with a bases-loaded single in the 4th inning. This one he grounds to short. Iglesias gets it across the diamond for the 2nd out. The Yankees are down to their final out.
Hanrahan's got a big arm. You know, it's sort of a typical story with Pittsburgh that eventually going to turn around, but developing some talent and then trading him off and trying to rebuild. And Pittsburgh now on the verge of contending and feeling like they're going to take the next step. But Hanrahan with a big arm. 98 miles an hour today here.
Here's Brett Gardner. Gardner 1 for 3 and a walk. Hanrahan deals low, 1-0. Count 2-0. Sabathia got the start for the Yankees. Gave up 4 runs in the 2nd, and the Yankees were never able to get a lead in the game after that. So CC will take the loss unless the Yankees stage an unlikely rally. And John Lester, he pitched 5. He's going to get the win. And the Red Sox bullpen with a good job shutting the Yankees down, using 5 pitchers to get the final 12 outs. The 2-1. 97 miles an hour, 2-2. Fly ball, left field. That'll make the seats. We'll get another hack.
John Lester started this game, made it through 5 innings, 7 strikeouts. He had good stuff. The Yankees pushed his pitch count up. The Red Sox bullpen since that point, nearly perfect.
3-2. At the Great Hall, almost 1 foot out the door, but they just waiting for the unlikely rally. Three-two. Left side again and again. This one not out of play as Middlebrooks, wind blew it back. That was about 6 rows back as Middlebrooks made the play, stayed with it, and the Red Sox win this one 8-2. Well, stick around for the postgame show to find out who's today's Chevy Player of the Game. This was all Red Sox after scoring 4 in the second against CC. Their pitching held it together, some clutch hitting, and a lot of work in the count as they drew 8 walks as well. We'll come back, we'll wrap things up, then we have the postgame with Bob and Jack and Meredith.